Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Nocturnal Nerdcast, Pop Culture in the Dark. It is April 28th. We are almost into the warm time of year. I'm so happy. I hate cold weather, so getting warmer is always a plus. We're supposed to have thunderstorms this week, though, so I'm worried about that because this area is not known for its power stability when it comes to thunderstorms, but we'll see where that goes. How's everybody doing? Shout out to everybody who's here, all of our channel members, everybody else that's chatting. We have a lot of topics tonight. The two main topics we're going to talk about is the James Gunn DCU. We're going to talk about the Authority and the position or placement of the other movies and things, the updates on the status of those movies, I guess the best way to put it, of the other projects that are coming around. We have some trailers to look at, Master of the Universe stuff. We're going to be talking about Daredevil Born Again's viewership numbers. We're not going to talk about the episode till later. We'll talk about it at the end of the stream, so we'll do that there. But we're going to look at the viewership numbers because there's some drama going on about that. A bunch of small stories. We got a few things to talk about. As you can see, the poll is up over here before we start bringing people up on the panel. If we hit the goal tonight, that's 5 super chats of any tier. We're already 1 out of 5 in the reloaded chat here. You guys will be able to use this to pick a bonus topic for our game night, which, by the way, the game night will be announced tonight. I do have the date for that, so we will be announcing that. All you have to do is correlate a number with the statement over here, so whichever one that you want us to discuss, you hit the number, and then it will update onto the poll over here. So there's that. All right, with that being said, we do have one person waiting in the back. Now, we had 2. I don't know where the other person went. I guess I'll come back in a moment. But we do have Joe here hanging out in the back. What's up, Joe?
Hey, how's it going?
You're wearing a Christmas shirt in April?
Well, it's a movie poster shirt.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. I'm seeing Santa Claus on somebody's outfit. But now, if it were July, I would say, Joe, is it Christmas in July? But, you know. We did a halfway to Halloween party at work last month. So it's kind of interesting.
It's funny. I just got right before you introduced me, I was looking at my comments on one of my videos, and I got a comment from somebody who writes, this is their comment: Lamont's channel is kicking your ass. Yours, not so much. We all had a good laugh over you. Yeah, and that's my response. Who the hell is Lamont? I get this Lamont is kicking. I don't know who the hell Lamont is. Am I competing with Lamont?
Or maybe Lamont's competing with you. Maybe it's Lamont that's competing with you. Maybe it's the other way around. No idea
who the hell Lamont is. I thought that was Sanford's son, quite frankly.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, so how's everything going? How's weather up your way? Things nice, bad?
All right. You know, it was kind of, we got rain coming. So according to the forecast, it looked like it was going to rain today, but it didn't.
It's supposed to rain over, I think, tomorrow and Thursday for us. Chris says maybe Lamont is your secret nemesis, Joe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Look out for Lamont.
I'm worried, man. I don't know. Lamont coming.
He's kicking your ass. Yeah. All right, so these are our top 3 options over here. Let me read these out. Top 3 best gadgets, vehicles, or tech. So that could be something like the Batmobile, the Millennium Falcon. It's a pretty broad category. Anything cool and techy from across all the fandoms. Top 3 greatest redemption arcs. So those are characters that started out not so good and ended up leaving the dark side. Top 3 most iconic fantasy locations. Now, don't let fantasy fool you. I don't mean like it has to be fantasy movies. I mean fantasy as in not real places. So yes, like Metropolis would count. Coast City would count. Places like that. Those would be places, or Krakoa from the X-Men would count. Places like that. And the last one is top 3 directors who got the source material. So directors that you feel like connected with the stuff they were directing, whether it be a TV show, a movie, whatever. Yeah. How was my buzz earlier? Yeah, I had gotten home from an afternoon luncheon, and I had some cocktails. So it was a little fun. Anyway, well, we've got a few. Well, I guess we can start with some of the smaller topics, or the topics that you and I would probably talk about that everybody else doesn't want to talk about, because there are some things that people don't like to get into. So let me see what we got here. I've got a few things open and some tabs. What do we got? We do have a trailer for Strange New Worlds. Do you see that?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
The season 4 trailer. Let's go ahead and watch that. I know it's probably going to get claimed, but we can go ahead and watch it now because I think we're the only ones in the whole group that watches Star Trek. So it's better for us to go ahead and watch that. I'm excited for this season. I'm a little upset that the chance of getting a spinoff with the original crew is probably not going to happen. That's a little annoying.
See, I was I didn't want that. Like, I like all the actors, but I kind of felt like, well, we've had that show. It's the original series.
What is it doing here?
I don't know. It is layering us in some odd ways.
What the hell? What is going on with StreamYard? What is happening? Do you see the screen?
Yeah, I don't know what. It's a weird layout.
Whoa! Hold on. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna move the widget up in the corner here, and we're going to take this one off. I don't know what's going on. It's gonna work now. There we go. Maybe the widget was messing up the layout. That's always a possibility. All right, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna answer. I've got a super chat over here. Well, actually, we'll save the super chat because I'm gonna talk about that tonight. All right, so this is the trailer for Strange New Worlds season 4. In the, like, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but is Strange New Worlds in your top for like the new era, like 27 and 17 and beyond Star Trek, or is it at the bottom of your list?
It's towards the top. I think Starfleet Academy probably is my top. And I'm on the fence. Discovery, I thought Discovery was one of the best, but then season 3 kind of like the reveal of what the burn was really hurt Discovery in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, I thought season 1 was so good and season 2 was so good, and then we got the burn storyline, and I'm like, ooh, you dropped the ball so hard there. So I don't know. Like, I teeter between Discovery and Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds has definitely been more consistent. I'll give them that.
All right. We have Omega just joined.
Hey, so actually, I just got finished with my D&D game, so I was like, no, let me use the bathroom right quick. Just since I realized we're on Star Trek talk, I was like, no way, I got to chime in.
Okay, well, we're going to watch this, and then you can do your bathroom break. We also have Darren has joined.
All right, I'm leaving.
So Darren is the one of the 4 of us that doesn't watch Star Trek, so he gets to watch the trailer with us for a second and then tell us how he has no idea what he's watching, because that's what it's going to be. It is season 4, so...
Well, what I want to know is, how are Omega and Darren stacking up against Lamont?
Oh, they didn't hear that part, yeah. Someone came into Joe's comment section and said Lamont was kicking his ass in views, and he has no idea who Lamont is, so...
Ooh.
Yeah. Who is Lamont? Who is Lamont? All right.
I don't know.
Let's watch the trailer. This is probably going to get claimed because it's Paramount and they need money. So they're going to claim it.
I have ever been prone to seek adventure and to investigate where wiser men would have left well enough alone. Space is limitless in its beauty and in its terror. You can do everything right, and sometimes things still don't work out the way we'd hoped.
Any of these missions could be on Ost.
A dinosaur?
Let's boldly go.
Is there a little bit after this? This is a Joe Blow trailer.
Make sure there's heat and oxygen waiting for me.
I will do my best.
Ooh. Okay. I think it's a Joe Blow trailer. So yeah, there's crap after it. Omega, you've got to use a bathroom. So tell us what you thought of it before you run.
It seems interesting. Hopefully they go with the whole, because I don't want to be one of those chuds, but I do have a big problem with New Trek. I don't like 80% of it. There's some I think is pretty good, but I just hope that it doesn't. I don't know. It's hard to describe. I hope it go with the the whole like explore, like kind of like how the older Star Trek was. It was more dialogue. It wasn't like action the whole time. It was more heady than a lot of the newer stuff.
I think Strange New Worlds for me is probably the closest to old Trek.
It's close. Yes,
in my opinion,
we have. Yeah, because I'm be honest, I hate Discovery. I thought Starfleet Academy was on the right track, but that got cut off before we got any further with there.
Yeah.
With us, I have to say this because with not Strange New World, Academy, it could have really gone in that whole way, that bit of old Trek, but with the newer cast, but the younger cast and all that, it really could have went there, but we're gonna get 2 seasons, so it's like I don't even think I want to watch the second season because I just don't care anymore.
You mean about like where everything goes? Because we know
just,
this is where it's like the chance of getting any more Trek in this style is pretty much zero right now because it doesn't seem like Paramount is interested in doing Trek for TV, which makes it really easy for me to get rid of Paramount Plus because this was the only thing I was really watching. So it's going to save me some money.
Star Trek reruns, that's it.
Yeah, as soon as we're done with season 2 of Starfleet Academy and the end of Strange New Worlds, that's it for me for Paramount. Unless they come up with something that I like, but right now these are really the only shows that I feel.
Yeah, Lower Decks was great. I didn't watch Lower Decks until after it was already announced that it was canceled. I was like, well, if I'm going to hate the show, I'm going to hate it properly. And I turned the second season on. It was absolutely great. Did not like the first season, got to be honest. But it's like, especially
first season, Trek is notoriously rough.
It's always bad.
Season.
Like DS9 is my favorite one. First 3 seasons, ass. I grew up with Next Generation. First 3 seasons, ass. But still, it's like the greatest. Well,
Next Generation did have rough beginning. Yeah, for sure.
It's like they don't give them a chance. Even with Enterprise, it didn't get really good until
Enterprise for me. The 3 and 4 were the best 2 seasons of Enterprise, in my opinion.
And they were supposed to get a 5th, but it got canceled.
I would disagree on DS9. I thought DS9 had it right out of the gate. In fact, I remember watching a season 2 episode of DS9, and I said, this is going to be the best Star Trek series, because if these characters are gelling this well this early on, when they find their footing in a couple of years, we're really going to be off.
Most people forget DS9 prior to a certain character arriving. I mean, should we spoil it anyway?
Well,
Worf arrives.
Here's the thing: in season 3, so Worf arrives in season 4, but in season 3 they introduced the Defiant.
Yeah,
and they said, well, it's because people kept saying they don't go anywhere, and the Defiant was a good addition. But the thing is, from day one, they don't go anywhere was never true because they had runabouts, and they always went into the Delta Quadrant or the.
I think they wanted a named ship. They wanted them to have a named ship. I think that's what it was.
And even when Next Generation was coming on, everyone hated that cast. Everyone said this show is going to be shit. It's going to be awful, and it's one of the greatest Trek series ever. DS9, same thing. Because if you look at the documentary that they had for DS9, they were reading off just not troll tweets because at that time they didn't have that. They were just reading off comments that people had on the show, and it was people said this show is going to be ass too, and it's arguably the greatest Trek. And it's for this, it's just give it a chance.
I always thought it would be a really fun experiment to go back every week, watch one episode of Star Trek in its chronological order, and pretend that I am one of the biggest haters, and just
just start with Enterprise, then
tweet.
The
original series. You gotta go, Joe. Oh, okay. Tweet out stuff that those guys would say about those shows during that period.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he was gonna be it because, like, I think I think Discovery did irreparable damage to current Star.
Discovery season 1. I think Discovery got progressively better over time.
Before I came in, y'all, he was talking about the burn, which was an amazing plot device that they had until we found out how it happened.
Right.
That was so freaking stupid. How it's like, okay, some stupid.
I actually think Discovery got
y'all,
10
y'all
times
have to
better
watch it.
when it went to the future. I think it got better when they left from the past and went to the future.
The type of storyline that Discovery was trying to tell, they should have stayed in the mirror universe. They could have done a lot of things that were better than placing them where they were, because the actual spore drive was a problem for me, and it still is a problem. I like the technology, but that should be something they made in the future. Like, why was that something they did back before Kirk? That could have been something they found out in the future. There's where warp travel is not existent because dilithium engines all blew out. They don't know when.
And then you have the spore drive. That makes sense for them to explore that kind of technology. Darren, you've never seen Star Trek. Do you have any thoughts on this trailer? Did it confuse you completely? Do you have any idea what the fuck is going on at all? I can't hear you.
You need it, bro.
Better?
Yes, there we go.
There we go.
StreamYard needs to get their shit together. It's been like this all day.
You missed it earlier when the widget was down in the bottom corner. It made Joe a tiny little dot on the screen, and it was like it just didn't work. I had to move it. So anyway,
I recorded an hour video earlier. It's all just silent. It's me. You can't hear a single word of it.
What happened? Omega, can you hear him?
No, he's kind of going in.
Oh my god, it's just looping.
Yep. Oh boy.
But no, the last like.
Oh boy.
Has been like.
But yeah, but with Justin saying, Berman was, what happened to Terry Farrell was absolutely messed up. It's like, that was some bullshit that was going on with that. It's like, no wonder she left. And even the same with Denise Crosby. She was like, from how she was treated, and then she's like, she wanted to do other stuff at the time, and that's why she ended up leaving Next Generation. She eventually came back for a couple episodes here and there, but Berman was even Classic Trek had its issues. It had a lot of issues.
I think, by the way, what's up, Ronan? Good to see you, man. It's been a minute. So
good seeing you guys. Yeah, sorry I've been out, just balancing stuff.
That's okay. Hope everything is well. So
better.
Your room is very dark compared to usual, though. I will say that. So
I know it's been.
Have you joined the dark side?
No. It's just been getting warmer and shit. So I'm like, you know what? There's enough light blowing up from the computer, the PC, the monitor.
Are you a Star Trek person or no?
I do like Star Trek. A lot, but it's not in the levels of like that Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. It's in like the bottom part of it. I still like it a lot, and I've seen season 1 of Strange New Worlds, but I'm behind on a lot of stuff.
I don't want to spoil anything on it. I do. So I will say this: if you're not somebody that watched Star Trek in the past, this is for everybody in the chat. There is a thing that happens to this captain in the past that will fuck you over if it actually happens, and it kind of has to, because this is supposed to be the main timeline. So
continuity. Yeah. I know about that. Yeah.
So we'll see if they do that. Look, if they decide not to do it, then that would make a lot of people happy, because then they would go, "Oh, this isn't the main timeline. It's a different timeline." And then all of a sudden, all the complaints would go away, because then they wouldn't matter anymore.
I kind of hope they don't go that route, because that whole what happens, putting them in that weird contraption, I just thought it was stupid. But then again, that's just the relic of the 60s, and there's
it is weird. The whole thing is weird, but you can't like weird. The thing is that at the end of this trailer, we got Kirk for a second. Where, let me show it right here. Where's it at? Right.
Well, we've had him throughout the show, right?
Yeah, but there's a moment here where it feels like this was them trying to establish a reboot of the original series, because we've always said they've got the actors available. They could literally just do, a new Star Trek Enterprise type show with these characters again. And now that's not going to happen because Kurtzman is no longer going to be doing it. So the idea of that show not happening or getting that show is kind of gone now. Darren has returned. You turned into a robot and then I couldn't do anything. Your screen froze, and so
I don't know what happened. My whole computer glitched out or whatever.
Oh, okay. And then you blooped away. Ronan has arrived. I don't know if you saw that before you left or not.
I've heard of this guy. I've heard him before.
I've never seen him in my life.
We're going to be getting Star Trek as movies and not as shows, so I don't know what that's going to look like. Because I've said this a million times, and this is where I'll give everybody a chance to talk, but this is where I'm going to wrap it up. I think Star Trek, for me, has always worked better as a TV serial series than a movie, and Star Wars is always better as a movie series than it is as a TV series. And that's just my opinion on the two. Now, both of them have good things. Star Trek has good movies. Star Wars has some good shows, but I think more often than not, they're better in those particular styles. In my thoughts. So
they both come from different mediums. Like Star Trek was born out of the TV era, and then along came Star Wars and literally reshaped films and how they did films.
Yeah. So, anybody else have anything to say before we move on?
Yeah. I don't. I'm not liking the direction Trek is going now. It's just.
Yeah.
It's kind of like. Even with okay, if you put Lower Decks, Discovery, Strange New Worlds, Starfleet Academy, even though I don't like Discovery, but I did like Academy and the rest of them, they all still paled in comparison to the Orville, which was a Star Trek parody, and they still did Star Trek better than Star Trek actually did.
Who? What did you say? Then the what?
Orville.
Oh, the Orville, though, if you go back and you watch it, I didn't realize this, but if you go back and you watch it, there's no original stories on that. It's just remade Star Trek stories.
Star Trek, yeah. And
so
it's Star Trek better than Star Trek.
But what I'm saying, though, is that to be completely honest, I don't know if Galaxy Quest is probably my favorite parody of Star Trek, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that.
Oh, so good.
What? It's really good.
I thought it was just it's just a comedy, Star Trek, whatever. It's been there.
Well, it starts off a little bit weird because you're not really sure what's going to happen, and then it just goes into full-on parody. But my issue with the Orville, I like the Orville. I think it's really good. But as a fan of Star Trek, I don't want to see them just repeat the same things over and over and over again. I want the story to move forward, and that's what I liked about Discovery when it went to the future. Regardless of the burn and all that, it did move the story forward a bit for me. I actually
like Discoveries when they got jumped into the future. I was like, oh, finally, we're getting.
I don't think Picard moved the story forward. It was just a adjacent Picard series. It's fine.
I love the third season, but it's just basically just a movie version of if you put all those episodes together and just crunch them into maybe 2.5, maybe 3 hour session. It's just a next generation movie.
That's why I love the first season of Strange New Worlds, because it's like, oh, we're spending time with Nurse Chapel, or at least in this version, it's Dr. Chapel. We're getting to spend time with another engineer who turned out to be the MVP of the crew towards the end of that first season. And so I'm wondering if they choose to do another alternative timeline, not the Kelvin universe, but another alternative timeline, and not go back to the Roddenberry 60s aesthetic and whatnot.
Yeah.
We'll see.
What is that background noise?
I have no idea.
I don't know who that is. Sounds like something moving. Do you guys hear that? I don't know what it is. It's weird. Anyway, all right. So we're going to talk about the super chat we got down here, and we can talk about this story as well. $5 super chat from Connor here says Stranger Things Tales from 85 has been renewed for a second season and will release this fall. And that makes us 1 out of 5 super chats tonight. Thank you so much, Connor. I appreciate it. Has anybody watched that yet?
I've seen the first episode. I want to push back on that a little bit. It wasn't renewed today. It was greenlit as a 2-season show. That's been going around all day. Everyone's like, they just picked it up. It's like, no. It was always supposed to get 2 seasons. They just put out a trailer today for this.
Which, by the way, again, I want to reiterate, I am a big fan of just going ahead and giving a new show 2 seasons. Like they did with this, they did with Starfleet Academy. They've done it with, what was it, My Adventures with Superman. They kind of just go ahead and they get those 2 seasons off the jump. Yeah. I appreciate that because if it picks up fans during that first season, you're going to see that momentum in the second season. And if it doesn't pick up fans in the first season and then the second season grabs fans, it can get greenlit for a third season. So I feel like it's a win-win no matter what. And you're paying them for 2 seasons, but they're probably packaging it as one deal, which is what makes it better for them. So here's the Rotten Tomatoes scores. As I've told you guys many, many, many times, I don't give a fuck about Rotten Tomatoes for real, but everybody talks about it, so we're going to bring it up and use it as a discussion while I talk about my non-spoiler review of it, because I've watched the whole thing. So I've watched it all. All right. It's got a 63% from critics and a 53% from fans. So not the worst scores in the world. Some of the negatives for it, for me, we'll start with negatives and then we'll go positives. That way it feels like it doesn't feel like I'm dunking on it or whatever. I don't like that the voice actors weren't the characters from the show. It's very obvious that it's not them on some of the characters. And when you're sitting there watching it and you turn away for a second, you don't really always recognize who's saying what because you're so used to the actors from the show. I get it. I understand. It takes place, or at least the first season takes place between seasons 2 and 3 of the show. There's some things that happen with characters that wouldn't have happened between seasons 2 and 3 because they have to have something to do on the show. That's a little annoying. What else? What else was I a little annoyed about? Some of the stuff that characters do aren't in character for me. And it's very obvious that they're like, we're making this cartoon for kids or for a younger audience to tune into Stranger Things. That's fine as well. Wasn't really my cup of tea. The positives for me is I think the animation looks really good. I love the setting. Obviously, it's still in the 80s, so I like that. I like the music. They use a lot more music in this than they do on the show, I think. I know the Kate Bush song was really popular, but this one used at least 3 or 4 songs throughout the season that were 80s songs that I really loved. They introduced some new characters that are interesting. I think there's at least 4 characters in this that are not on the main series. My issue with this is it feels like it is spinning the wheels a little bit of the nostalgia of Stranger Things. And it's just for them to keep people watching this IP. If that makes any sense. I don't think it's bad. It just doesn't do anything, in my opinion, that makes it super interesting in the world of Stranger Things and the Upside Down. Even the creatures that are used in the show aren't particularly cool. I mean, they're scary and they are slightly different from what we've seen, but there's nothing really new about them outside of their design that we haven't already seen the kids deal with previously. So it's just it doesn't really move the story forward in a big way. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it is packaged in between seasons 2 and 3. Am I the only person who's watched the whole season? Darren, you are muted again.
I've seen the first episode, and I thought it was okay. I'm gonna watch more. It's interesting to me because they pitched it as like a Saturday morning cartoon, right? Mm-hmm. Like that was the pitch. Is like they wanted the feeling of like waking up on a Saturday, putting on a show that meant nothing, and going with it. And it's interesting that it is a more serialized show from what I've seen. Like, based on the first episode, like, I was fully expecting it to be like a...
individual episodes, like anthology type things. It's not. The story carries all the way through the end. So.
Which is interesting. Like, I almost feel like if they were going to be like, this is canon, it would have been a lot easier if they did feel more like individual. I think this show, and again, I need to watch more of it.
Is it canon to the show? To the live action show?
They've said it's like soft canon, which is interesting to me. But I think it's better if it's not canon. Like, I think it's better if you go into it being like, listen, this didn't happen, but this is just more adventures in that world. Like, look back to Saturday morning cartoons; they were never canon. Look back to like Karate Kid the series and like all the old Men in Black the show and
RoboCop
the show, and they were never like they were just meant to have fun with the characters in the world to hold you over until the next movie or never get a movie, right? And that was just
Well, I mean, also, Darren, to speak to that, look at all the vast amounts of DC cartoons over the years that none of them connect to anything. They're characters from DC, but they're all different. They're not all tied to the same storyline. What's up, Jake? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Have you watched Tales from '85 yet?
Not yet, but if you want to spoil into stuff, you can.
No. Like, literally, I'm the only person that's watched it, so I'm not going to spoil anything. We're talking about the fact that there's the season 2. People say it's being greenlit, but I'm mentioning that because it was part of the news cycle today.
Man,
I don't think, unless they do something pretty drastic with it, I don't see a season 3 for this.
I mean, I've heard that there are like books that go into some of the gap years, so why not just make some of those into seasons of animated TV if you want?
I think
this IP.
You want to know my thoughts on this? This would have been really interesting to introduce us to a new group of kids somewhere else that are also dealing with the Upside Down in a different way.
Because we already know what's happening to these characters.
Yes. Yeah. There's no threat because we all know that they survive.
There's no stakes to anything that happens because, like, you introduce these characters that are, like, not in the show, and I think that's what really takes me out of it, where I'm like, all right, who the heck is this new chick you're bringing in here that disappears by the time we get to the next season or whatever? So,
and I would have waited till at a minimum until like November before coming out with this. I think April is way too soon.
I think that's another thing. I like the way the show ended. I am not in the camp of people that hated it, but I was exhausted by the fans after that final season. It was just so exhausting.
Those fans are insufferable.
It was so exhausting. I needed a break from the fandom, and I think I'll be there by the time the prequel comes out, the like live action show. This came out, and I was like, I don't have the motivation to watch a new Stranger Things thing that doesn't affect anything at all. Like, it's such a I don't know,
because we knew this was happening before the show ended.
We said goodbye already. It's just like how do you like? And it's literally what?
Well, that's the other thing. This was the negative that I didn't mention. We had to remember as we were watching it where these characters were between seasons 2 and 3. I'm like, wait, does this person know this? No, they don't know this. Or how does this person get along with this person? There's still issues between Dustin and other characters. Like, there's just things that are happening where I'm like, I don't remember where any of this was between seasons 2 and 3. It just doesn't make sense.
I'm guessing they don't do any form of like a quick catch up either.
They don't really do that, but you can tell that they're expecting people to watch this that have never watched the show. Like, they're expecting kids to tune in. It's a much younger... Look, I'm just going to put this out there for everybody. There's no blood, really. There's no gory stuff going on. It's definitely intended for, like, a younger audience to watch it. And the last thing I'll leave it on, and this isn't really a spoiler because I'm not going to tell you what happens in terms of this character or whatever, but literally in the cartoon, Elle is Jean Grey. She's just Jean Grey in this cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more or less what she was turning into in the actual show.
And Mike's yelling, 11!
I'm not saying... No. I'm not saying turning into. Like, she's literally... I don't want to spoil it. She's pretty much a Phoenix character in this cartoon. So it's like, it's very crazy how far it goes.
Yeah. It feels like it's set in season 4 than it does at the end of season 2, where it's like, wait, like these characters are not here yet.
Lord,
I will say, like, the one thing I felt in episode 1, I was like, it kind of, and I think Roden to like really hit the nail on the head we said goodbye already. We had that emotional moment of like, this is it for these characters. And then when they show up here, it almost feels like they're wearing meat suits of the characters we loved previously.
Well, it's not even the same actors. That's the other thing that annoyed me. It's not the same voice actors. So
yeah,
it's like, you look like the characters I love, but you're not quite the characters I love, and something's off and eerie about it.
Because so much of the development that we went through with them hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Cartoon 49 with a $2. Go ahead, Jake. Finish your
I was
thought.
going to say that bottom comments. I mean, everything's subjective.
Oh, Stranger Things finale was worse than Game of Thrones finale.
Everything's subjective, but I don't agree with that at all.
I thought that season finale of Stranger Things was phenomenal. Like I saw it on the big screen, and it was so cinematic. Like I walked out of there like this could have just been a movie. You could have just put this out in theaters, and like I
had issues, but I also really liked it, especially the back half of it.
I had my issues with the last season. There were a lot of up and down things, and even the final episode I had some gripes with. But that last 15 minutes of an epilogue, great stuff.
Yeah, thank God for that epilogue.
I thought season 5 as a whole was a huge step up over season 4. Like season 4 was so.
It was arguably their best season.
I think it was a mess. I think it was a complete and total mess. They broke the characters up. The chemistry was off. The characters were all split up. It just kind of felt like they were spinning your wheels most of the time.
That's not unique to season 4. The characters were broke up almost every season.
It's weird because the momentum from season 5, like the first part of season 5, the momentum was good. I was like, okay, we're going somewhere.
Are we talking about Game of Thrones?
No. Stranger Things. Like when
gotcha.
Came up, it was like the momentum going, and it ended with that last part of that first part of like Will wiping his nose. He's like, okay, he's leveled up. And as much as I can remember the final season, that momentum, it never went back that way again.
No.
And that's why I appreciated so much that epilogue, because that epilogue did a lot of like, no, there's no, reboot with no time jump. Time machine. Clearly, you were saying goodbye, and people just have to live with what's happened.
Right. You had that voiceover from Mike, but they were showing you what was happening to those characters instead of just telling you, which was really what I didn't like about the start of the season, how they ended season 4 with, like the big thing where Hawkins is split down the middle, and then 2-3 years later when the final season comes out, you automatically see it in a resolved state, and they just tell you how it gets there. I'm like,
well, the thing is, that's where the cartoon should have taken place. Why didn't the cartoon fill in the gaps between those big time jumps? Like, that would have made the most sense.
It easily could have.
To me. All right, so we got a super chat here from Cartoon 49. $2 super
Chris,
chat.
why you gotta? I just got here, Chris. Why you gotta put me in that situation already?
Saw the Michael movie and thought it was meh. I still haven't seen it.
Same.
I'm going Thursday.
I'm not one of those people. It's like I hate Michael Jackson. Like I know a lot of people feel that way. I'm indifferent because he's no longer with us, so I don't even really think about it. His music is still very popular. I get requests for it all the time, so he's still relevant in that way. But I just don't care about this movie. Like I know Lance was all about it. I don't care about it. I know that people are going to it and say they love it, whatever. That's fine. I probably, if it comes out on streaming, I'll probably watch it at some point. I'm probably not going to see it in theaters. However, I am seeing The Devil Wears Prada on Thursday, so I'm excited for that one.
That is this weekend, huh?
Yeah. Anybody else see Michael or not see Michael? Am I the only one that hasn't seen it? I know Ronan said he hadn't seen it, I guess.
I don't know if you saw my text earlier today, but
I haven't been getting texts lately. Something's wrong with my phone.
Film Threat did a asinine video about Michael. About talking about how the critics didn't like it and the fans did. And
I posted a picture of that where they're attacking critics. They are critics.
Yeah, it was so dumb. It was so dumb because like the one guy on the panel's like, I'm just glad the critics had to eat shit. And I'm like, when did they eat shit? You mean because the movie made money? Like, do you think the point of a critic is to make sure a movie doesn't make money? Is that what you think critics do? It's like, I don't think you understand what critics are.
Well, not only that, but we talked about this. I don't remember which night it was. It was one of the nights last week about critics versus fans or when it comes to scores and stuff. it doesn't matter which one is right. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if the critics scored a 30 and fans scored an 80, who gives a fuck? Like I generally don't care about that. Like, it doesn't matter to me. But you're right. The money thing. So this is why narratives are so fucking obvious to me. If people are trying to frame a narrative around something, they will dismiss one group and use another group's statements to justify their narrative. So if they don't like the movie and there's a disparity between fans and critics, they're going to pick the ones that have the opinion that goes along with whatever their opinion is.
Yep.
And that's just the way it is.
Regardless if there's facts to a statement, if it's for their narrative, great. If it's against it, it's bullshit. Regardless of what the facts are.
Yeah.
But as far as
how
it should be, that's just how they have it in their mind.
As far as Cartoon 49, as far as you saying it's meh, that's fine with me. There's a lot of movies that I think are just meh too. I don't particularly, like, me personally, I don't particularly feel the need to get people on my side if I don't like something. You know what I mean? Or if I think it's just okay.
I like the Springsteen movie. I know people weren't crazy about it at all. I know I think The Ringer was not a fan of it at all. And so I was like, all right, that's fine. Again, some of my favorite movies have like 50%, 70% ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, cool. That's for them to like sleep with that. I'm good with Tron Legacy, John Carter of Mars. I'm good.
Right, like if I have an opinion on a movie, I don't need people to agree with me. I'm not losing sleep over it.
Sometimes I do look at reviews and I'm like, okay, what are all the people that I usually watch and what are the consensus? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's a guideline. It's a guideline. Yeah. But like Andrew in the chat here says critics don't understand what general audiences like. Well, that's not their job. Their job isn't like to lick their finger and see which way the wind's blowing and tell you what the audience is going to think. That's not. They're there to review the movie. They're there to give you their thoughts. They're there to take their idea of what makes a good movie and write their review. If you're just telling people what the audience is going to like, that's not a movie review. That's box office tracking.
Well, but that goes back to the whole statement that you were saying, and I've talked about this before, that critics are not promotional tools for studios. That's not what they're supposed to do.
Nope.
So even if
word is law.
Right, even if a critic doesn't understand what fans want in general, they're still, whoa, what the hell? Oh, okay. I guess Omega bumped out. Because the thing about it is, if critics don't understand what a fan, like, for example, a critic going to see a movie about a book they've never read, they're not necessarily going to know what the fans of that book want, but that doesn't mean that their review of the movie is invalid. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, look at Chris Jellium brought it up. I'm like, I can't imagine the reviews for a lot of these, like, now cult classic or masterpiece, considered films masterpiece, and how they were railed back in the day. Look at again, John Carpenter's The Thing and Blade Runner.
The Shawshank Redemption is another one. That movie flopped hard back in the day, and now it's considered one of the best films of all time.
The Iron Giant flopped, and I would argue it's probably the best Superman movie, but that's just my opinion, and it's one of the best animated movies of all time. Like, it's my favorite.
But that was a critical darling. The critics were championing the Iron Giant, and the audience didn't go see it.
Yeah, and again, it varies on. People have to realize that, like, also timing is a factor when of what a movie does in the present time or what it does lasting 5-10 years from now. I think that, for me, Alex Garland's films are going to last a long, long time. Are going to be talked about more often than not, in my opinion.
Right. Cartoon 49 with the $2 super chat says, Eric, you should do a video roasting Fake Wizard. I looked at Fake Wizard's channel. Joe, you're the person that I think mentioned it to me like a while ago, like a couple months ago. What is it, Fake Real Wizard or something like that?
Real Fake Wizard.
Yeah, I looked at the channel and I just don't. You have to have that urge to want to, like, watch something and figure out what they're saying or whatever. I looked at his channel. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, how am I supposed to talk about somebody that wears a fake beard and mustache and a wizard's hat? Like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? He's a character, and I typically don't like Doomcock. I don't typically like to try and roast people that aren't themselves. Like, I don't know because I don't know if I'm taking them seriously or not,
And so many of these guys, I think he's one of them. So many of them are just, they're just the same. Like it's like we've seen them all before. You know, it's like you're probably better off taking on the bigger ones. Like you know, a guy like Critical Drinker has more cachet with the general.
Well, let me put this in perspective. It would be like debunking Pee Wee Herman or Kermit the Frog. You know what I mean?
Right,
These aren't.
right.
They're not who they really are. That's the issue. Is like, what am I debunking? Are they? Am I supposed to take them seriously, or are they supposed to be joking? I don't know. I know he shows up on Chud streams, but I don't know if those opinions are really his opinions, or is he just playing this character that has those opinions?
I honestly think a lot of them just waste time trying to put on persona when you should just be who you are. If people have a problem with it, big fucking deal.
I agree. And people have a problem with Gina Carano because she's returning. Good little segue there. Gina Carano teases potential Star Wars return after really nice conversation with Lucasfilm following Disney lawsuit. All right, so before we start giving our opinions on this, I made a video about this earlier today on my Debunks channel. If you're on my Reloaded channel and you don't know about my other channel, go check out Eric Debunks. I did a video about this today over there. I think it's Ariel Helwani. Is that the guy's name that the show she was on? I don't really know much about him, but Fantha Tracks is covered this, and these are her quotes. I've already had a conversation with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. After we settled the lawsuit, we got on a Zoom call. It was really nice. So this would have been like right after this happens, what she's saying, right after the lawsuit. And then she says, Jon Favreau was really funny and says, so where do we leave off? So what we know here is contact happened. There's been no confirmation of a return. And there's no Lucasfilm announcement that Cara Dune is back. So all of this stuff is being overstated here, in my opinion. I don't see any reason why they would bring Gina Carano back. It just... Right now, it doesn't make any sense for a multitude of reasons. But before I give my reasons, because I already did a video on this, I want to know if you guys have any opinions on this. What do you think about bringing Cara Dune back, if that's even in the cards? And what do you think about Gina Carano's comments?
So I haven't followed Gina's career post leaving Star Wars. Like,
it's not good. It's not
even like, you know, has she fought Ronda Rousey yet?
I don't think it's happened yet. They've been promoting it.
Okay, because I might passively watch that, even though it's not like, oh my gosh, I gotta ask the day off to watch that fight. Here's the thing, I really like the character of Cara Dune, the character. And here's the thing, like her comments, her beliefs really bothered a lot of the fan base, and and
co-stars too. That was the other thing, is it was an issue with some of the co-stars,
and some of the fan base, whether we like them or not, didn't mind it and championed her post firing. Do I want or need to see Cara Dune back right now? No, not necessarily. It would have been nice if post all this she would have had a thought about, you know what, maybe, you know, I can choose to believe what I want to believe because that is her right, but I don't have to instigate stuff, especially when I'm playing a character that is not. I would argue that the character isn't fully the way she would behave or has been talked about stuff, and you know, if she does come back eventually, I'm very interested to see how the PR is going to be going through Disney and Lucasfilm during that day. Again. When she left, I was like, okay, cool, you know, sucks that she chose this route, but again, she preferred sticking to her guns than playing a even field. Like, you know what, I have my thoughts, and you know, we could respectfully disagree, but you know, I'll keep on and work on and do the stuff. But right now, do I need her back in Lucas and Star Wars? No, not necessarily. And also, even thinking about it now, I'm like, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have enough going on right now with the shows, and also being like, oh yeah, we announced Dave Filoni was supposed to do this big crossover, if you will, culminating movie where we got to take about Mandalorian and Grogu, about Ahsoka, about all these threads, and then this would be another thread on to worry about of like, how do we explain this? Well, she was in the first 2 seasons. and then some real stuff happened. So we gave her a long ass vacation, a sabbatical, and she's back.
I would go even further and say that if they did, let's do a bunch of hypotheticals here. Let's play this game. Say, for example, they did contact and they say, hey, we want you back in something. We don't know what the project is. Pick one. Bring her back in something, right? The minute she goes to do interviews, what are they going to be talking about? It's going to be about all of the drama. How did you come back? What was that process like? Because honestly, that's the only interesting thing to ask her about. There's nothing else really interesting because she's playing a supporting character. They're not going to give her a lead role on her own show anymore. Even if she comes back, she's not going to be the star of a show. That's not going to happen.
The first question would be like, how do you feel about Israel? What do you think about what's going on right now?
Yeah, no, they absolutely would. Yep. They would want to get a soundbite from her because could you imagine she goes on an interview and they ask her about something related to trans people immediately and she says something controversial. That's not something that Disney wants to get involved in. Whether you agree with her or don't disagree with her, that is a PR nightmare for Disney.
Yeah, and again, to be quite frank, since she's left, we've gotten other supporting characters that have been built up, like for generalities, like Bo-Katan, and hell, a non-female guest, co-star, but someone who's been becoming a fan favorite is Carson Teva, Paul Seung Lee's character. And it's like,
right?
You know what? Why don't we give him something to do and give him a project? Why not? Like that Rangers of the New Republic, I could happily see him leading that show and taking off some weight of what they're planning to do for that. And again, I think with Regina, I'm kind of indifferent to it. I just know that if she does come back, it's going to be another PR hurdle, another hurricane that they're going to have to navigate.
In every way imaginable. In every way imaginable.
Whether I like it or not, or whether the fan base likes it or not, like it's going to be another whole PR thing to go about. And it's just like, let's just get through this stuff right now and see what it is. So I'm kind of indifferent to it, but I also have sympathy for some friends / creators who felt like, what the fuck? Why are you actively going out against a community that I'm part of? She has the right to believe that, but I disagree with it wholeheartedly. And
Jake, oh sorry. Before I speak, I thought did Jake want to say something?
Well, you were, I think, right on the money about people wanting to get a soundbite out of her about that stuff, just because unfortunately we live in a society where people really have nothing better to do than just to dig on the internet looking for dirt on somebody they don't
100%.
Like, try to act like they're the big cheese when they break some scoop.
Completely 100%. Yeah. Joe, Omega, anything about this at all? Any thoughts on it?
I kind of came in at the last minute. What are y'all talking about?
Gina Carano kind of teasing that she'd been talking with the new head of Lucasfilm and that they had a good conversation, but that's all she said.
There's a 0% chance she comes back.
I agree.
There's not even a maybe involved. There's a 0% chance. The number one thing people got to remember too is she wasn't fired for her opinions. She wasn't fired for posting something on social media that people didn't like. That's not why she was fired. She was fired because she signed a paper saying she wasn't going to do it again. They gave her 3 chances. She did it. They told her, don't do that again. She did it again. They said, don't do that again. They sat down with her management. They made her sign things. And then she did it a 3rd time. So Disney bent over backwards for this woman. They're not bringing her back.
The other thing people need to realize is, and I just want to double check to make sure I get this language right. She wasn't fired in the sense of like a contractual issue. Like they didn't break her contract. She wasn't under contract. They didn't go through with the talks for another thing that she was supposed to be a part of. So she was going for I believe the lawsuit, if I remember correctly, the one that actually went through was something about sexual, what was the case? It was actually, she was saying that men were treated differently on set than her or something. It was a weird wording for the lawsuit because it wasn't breach of contract. So a lot of people were saying when we use the term fired, it's not actually the legal terminology for it. I know a lot of people say it, but the contract did not get picked up for the show she was supposed to be a part of, and she was no longer employed by them, which is why when Disney announced that she is not employed by Lucasfilm or Disney, they meant that her contract had expired. She was in between contracts with them.
Well, you said it earlier, people love to twist around words like that, A, without knowing what they mean, and B, to fit their own narratives.
Well, also, I think fired sounds really loaded. I know that that's probably the most casual way to put it, and I'm not really too pressed about it when we're talking about it.
Like,
yeah. So
you
like
see
when
FIRED in giant capital letters, that gets attention.
Yeah, because the actual lawsuit, I think they use the terminology wrongful termination, which is different from fired, even though it sounds the same legally. It's two different things.
Yep.
But yeah, so she basically the issue is that this would be a PR disaster for Disney and Lucasfilm, no matter which way you do this. And Ronan, you said you hadn't been following her career, like post. What is? People are just bouncing. What is going on?
I have no idea. Last I heard, she was doing something with Daily Wire, which I'm like, great.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying though is that no one that supported her prior to the termination with this supported anything she did outside of Star Wars. So everything, and when I say no one, that's not hyperbole. Everything she did was complete and utter forgettable flops. It wasn't. Nothing was good.
The only consistent thing I remember hearing throughout all these past few years, since she wasn't in the show, is that she would appear here and there at some cons, mainly in, from what I gather, I think in Florida or like down, south cons, if you will, that didn't care about what she thought about. We're like, all right, whatever, we'll have her on. It's like, I was like, okay, that's the only consistent thing. I thought, like, all right, she's just being at some con, not near me. But yeah, dude, it's weird thinking about it again. Like, I remember as soon as season 2 ended, they announced Ring of the New Republic, and it's like it was the team up for her own show, and then boop.
I did think they should have brought her character back and just recast, because they had plans. And I always say, people complained about season 3. They're like, oh, we didn't like Mandalorian season 3. I always say it's never a good thing when you have a plan and deviate from it, because history has shown us it doesn't usually work out too well.
So I don't have all of this in front of me. However, I do. What the hell? I do remember this is similar to the Jonathan Majors thing with Kang. They had signed her on in a locked contract specifically for that character, which means that when they let go of her, legally they could not use that character anymore.
Well, then just say Cara Dune died. I'm her sister, Lara Dune.
Well, that's the thing, because they did mention her in season 3. We're like, oh yeah, she got picked up doing special forces stuff. I was like, okay, cool. They didn't kill off the character, but
yeah, apparently there's this new thing with Disney contracts now where, in order to, because if they ever want to use you as an alternate version, the agent wants you to be that alternate version, so it gets locked into the contract. That's why when the variants of Kang couldn't be someone other than Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Because he signed on as every iteration of Kang, which means she signed on for every iteration of Cara Dune. If they decided to do some weird,
luckily with the whole
thing.
Kang situation, they did it. They were able to do it in a way in the second Loki season to where they don't really need to revisit that again. They did kind of round that off, so that's
you can buy it, but it didn't help that they announced the Kang Dynasty.
Granted, like the whole Jonathan Majors thing, that was just the longest, shitstorm basically in a long line of shitstorms that they had over the last couple of years. So
even though I was intrigued by Kang, I always thought, even in that angle of Marvel, I'm like, don't just set up another sole bad guy. Do something like what Eternal was doing, like go face the space gods, go face the Celestial. That's different than just one bad guy being like, you gotta do it, I gotta do it, nobody else can do it, I gotta do it. And so again, and it's weird because when she went away, I was like, wow, what a drop of the ball in her hand. But she has, and again, I remember wrestling a little bit because I'm like, I would want her to not think that way, but then she would just be BSing me. If she said, "Oh no, I love trans, I love the LGBT, rainbow forever," like if she would have started faking that, then that would be more of an insult to the community itself.
Well, let me tell you the other thing, and we can, because I want to talk about the next topic before we get too far. But the other issue is when she was treated badly by Disney, she gained a bunch of fans that wanted to see her go all the way to the courthouse with this, and get Discovery, because then we could have found out if Disney actually was doing all of these awful things behind the scenes that she accused them of doing, because they would have had to pull up emails, they would have had to pull up phone calls, they would have had to call witnesses. And most companies, and guys, I want you to understand this when I'm saying not guys, not panel, but like people in the chat. You have to understand, they don't want to send people out to be on trial under oath. They do not want people that work for the company doing that. They will do everything they can to prevent that from happening. And so that's what a lot of these guys wanted. These nerdrotics, these critical drinkers, these geeks and gamers, all these channels that were hyping her up wanted her to go to trial so we would get all the dirt and all the skeletons in the closet that Disney has, because they would be under oath for all this stuff. I'll be honest, I was kind of curious to know if any of it was true or not. I wanted to see if she had any receipts to back up any of the stuff that she said had gone on. But she settled outside of court. She got a NDA, basically a restraining order on being able to talk about anything. And all of the support she got from those guys went out the window. Those are also the channels that have been yelling that Star Wars is dead for a decade. So they also don't care if she goes back, because they haven't liked Star Wars forever. So they don't give a fuck if she's back or not. She's not going to magically make a show good enough for them to talk good about it.
Nope.
So she's in a bad position. She lost support from a bunch of people who were hurt by the things that she did. She also lost support from the people that supported her, because she didn't go all the way to the end with their money. They supported her with money and help and things like that. She took that, she ran with that, she ran with the money, and now she wants to go back and work for the people that supposedly abused her? Are you kidding me? Why would you go back to a job full of people that treated you like shit? That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't feel logical, or like, like why would you backtrack? That's almost like backtracking. Then, and again, for
so
people
now it makes me think she lied about it. Like, was she lying about the bad treatment just to get sympathy?
Oh. And again, I people watch this, like, I don't think season 3 of Mandalorian is bad because Cara Dune is not in it. It's not what I think, because Bo-Katan filled that spot, and from what I saw of her and that character, I really dug it. I had issues with that season because of what they chose to do with in terms of reuniting Grogu and Mando, and what that did to the bookend of season 2, and so that's where that goes. And again, and we're under a year away from Celebration, and it's barely year 1 of Dave Filoni and the other co-president. I gotta learn her damn name. I apologize, miss, but like, I don't think you really want to start playing with matches your first year under now leading Lucasfilm. It's like, oh, you know what? Let's just let the tracks settle. Yeah. Stuff gets better, and then if there's a piece made here and there, I don't know. But right now, I'm intrigued. Again, here's the thing, because JR respect your opinion. Like, there's zero chance they could happen. I've learned these past 10 years. At this point, anything can fucking happen in this world, and it's just like I just go and be like, please.
I think it would be a really dumb decision for them to do that, for sure.
As a dodgeball would call it, it's a bold move, Cotton. It would be a bold
See
move.
If it pays off for him.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to Dr. Midnight, showing some love, telling people to like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you so much. And if you enjoy these channels, definitely go and support these guys. We're gonna do their shout outs at the end, by the way.
Hey, Dr. Midnight.
Guys, YouTube is it is
By the way, though, look, real fucking talk, YouTube has gone crazy on demonetizing and banning channels recently. Like, I have seen so many people, the AI flags them because they're doing things that you should be able to do on YouTube, and they're just getting in trouble for it. For example, if I'm not on camera and I am reading an article word for word, that is technically against YouTube's terms of service now. That's in the updated terms of service. If I'm not on camera and I'm just reading an article. That's why a lot of times I'll pull the article up and I will just read quotes from it, because I'm not trying to get no smoke from that one. The other one is, if people are copying your content and they're putting it everywhere on YouTube, if YouTube thinks that that's being spammed, they ban everyone making that content, including your channel, the one where the content came from, because the AI doesn't know how to determine which one is the real channel and which one is the spam channel. So it just deletes all of them.
You mean AI can make mistakes? Shocking.
Yes.
Absolutely nobody.
And low effort stuff. People that are getting on camera and going, hey, what do you think about this video? And then they just upload a video from somebody else. Like, that's what shorts are becoming now. So there's a lot of low effort content. YouTube is doing some bad shit right now. That's why I'm keeping my Twitch open just in case some shit goes down, because you never know.
Guys, YouTube is literally killing this channel, like, for real.
I heard Lamont's kicking this channel's ass.
Lamont is in views. He's kicking your ass in views. All right,
Eric, you might want to have an OnlyFans in your back pocket.
I actually do have one. Nothing's on there though. It's nothing on that channel. It exists because of a guy named Flash Freak.
Oh fucking Lord!
Who decided to create an OnlyFans with my full real name on it, and then shared it one night while we were streaming, and I was like, "Oh,
what's the channel? What's the link to it?" Because I wanted to make sure that.
So I created one, and then had to go after that one to prove that it was my real fucking account. So there's nothing on there, but. Forget Me Not 182 with the $2. Go ahead, Jake. What do you got to say?
When you said that name, everything made so much more sense.
Forget Me Not 182 with a $2 super chat. We are right now 3 out of 5 on the Debunks channel, and we are 1 out of 5 on the Reloaded channel, you guys. So we're getting there. It says Daredevil season 3 or Born Again season 3 had over a 50% drop in views from season 2. This is one of the topics we're going to talk about. And a good segue. Thank you for the super chat there. This is a Forbes article, so we couldn't read this even if we wanted to because they block everything. So I had to go and find this information from elsewhere. Thank you for the super chat. Let me go over to my notes here so we can pull this up. Okay. Here we go. Season 2 has, where's it at? It's a 46% drop in views and 54% drop in hours watched season over season. I could give you guys the exact numbers. They're massive because these are watch time minutes. But one thing that people that are making these videos fail to tell everyone is these are not the official numbers.
Fail or choose?
That's a good way to put it. This is a third-party service called Luminate, which is notorious for doing numbers. It's a lot of trades use it. A lot of places talk about it. It's the other one other than Nielsen, which, by the way, Nielsen and Luminate sometimes have different numbers because they don't actually get them from the services. They Luminate essentially sits in the parking lot of a grocery store and counts how many people walk in and estimates how many groceries they spent money on, and that's how they get their views. They're also like Nielsen, where they only count views in the U.S., nowhere else in the world. So these are very narrow, limited numbers that they're using.
Logic now, doesn't have holes in it at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could say, well, in the USA, this is what it looks like, but that's not counting the big picture of everywhere. Now, the other thing is places like Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, they don't want to give y'all streaming numbers because they just have an issue with that. Like, rarely do they give out full seasons streaming numbers. So it's either going to be, when you hear people talk about this, it's either going to be Luminate or it's going to be Nielsen. Those are the two outlets they use because it's the only ones that they have access to. Now, Luminate itself notes that season over season declines are common for all streaming franchises. So a drop alone does not automatically prove audience rejection. Now, the reason why they do this is because they don't want to get in trouble with these studios for counting their pockets, watching their pocketbooks. It's Andrew, but it's still not the actual numbers. That's the point. These are not the numbers from Disney. It's a third party pocket watching Disney's numbers, and they're not always accurate either. So I want to put out there, let's take their numbers at face value and go, okay, the numbers are accurate. I sat down and I thought about why. Oh, Joe, you got to head out?
Yeah, I'm starting to lose it over here.
All right, well, go check out Crazy Joe Adventures and Crazy Joe's Concession Stand. Go give him a check out on his channel. Anything you want to shout out before you go?
Yeah, not much. New video tomorrow, and on the Adventure channel, and yeah, that's about it. That's about all I got right now. So,
all right. Well, take care, Joe. Get a good night's sleep.
See ya, Joe.
Good night.
So Fetman says here, what's crazy is Daredevil hasn't been in Disney's top 10 in a while. I want to point out, let's do some anecdotal stuff because I think it's important. I'm going to do my anecdotal stuff and then we'll look at the bigger picture. Anecdotally, for me, whenever I turn on Disney Plus, Daredevil's never in the top banner for me. when I scroll through it, it's never there. Now, I know that's not going to be the same for everybody, but I watch Daredevil every week. So it should be the first thing on my banner as soon as I turn on Disney Plus, but it never is. So that makes me wonder, is it like that for everybody? Is it not the first thing on there, or is it down the click somewhere? Do you have to dig for it? I don't feel like Disney Plus does a lot to promote Daredevil. Matter of fact, their top banner for me is usually a lot of live things, like live events, sporting things, stuff like that. That's usually what's there, not usually the TV shows. Also, I would argue, and this is another subjective personal opinion, that season 2 is better than season 1, in my opinion. I think it's a better season in structure, in pacing, in acting, and storyline, and cinematography. I think everything about it is better for me.
I'll say this. I mean, I know I haven't seen all of the season yet, but I'd say this season so far is better than season 2 of the original show.
Okay, that's a fair take.
And I like that season a lot.
That's a fair take.
Like and maybe I can't confidently say better just because we haven't seen the payoff yet, but like season 2 of Born Again and season 2 of the original are like right there for me.
Yeah. All right, so let's step back from subjective stuff. I want to start talking about some things that we know for a fact that can affect these shows on Disney Plus. I wanted to go through and try and get numbers for some of the other shows, but I just didn't have time to do it before we started. I might look at it later on. But let's think about what's been happening over the last year or so outside of just Daredevil Born Again. Because I think if you reduce it down to just this show and you don't zoom out a little bit, you kind of lose what's actually going on. First and foremost, a bunch of people boycotted Disney over the Kimmel situation and never came back again. So a bunch of people no longer subscribe to Disney or support Disney in the way they used to. And I've seen this reiterated on social media. I've seen people say that they are no longer subscribed to Disney Plus, and they haven't been since the whole Kimmel thing. That's one factor we have to take into account, is that people ideologically have unsubscribed from Disney Plus.
And they're trying to do it again with Jimmy.
Yes.
Yeah.
For a different reason, but
so, so that's another issue that we have. But even larger than that, because again, that's still like speculation slightly. We know people unsubscribed from Disney Plus. We know that. But that doesn't necessarily mean they were people that watched Daredevil Born Again. I'm sure some of them were, but maybe not all of them. The one thing we do know is, and this is where it's going to get very, I'm going to adult up in here, guys. This is me being a dad at the moment. What?
I was just going to say, I know somebody in real life that resubscribed to Disney Plus to watch Daredevil.
Yes, so, I'm sure there's some people that did. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to be the dad for a second and just be really honest. Shit's fucking expensive right now. People don't have a lot of extra money, and Disney has raised their prices for everything. Their bundles, their individual service. They've gotten rid of a lot of their deals now. You used to be able to do like a deal $4.99 for 6 months or whatever. You can't really get that anymore. So they're really expensive. People are picking and choosing what streaming services they're going to look at. Inflation right now is like 3.5% in the country. Energy is up 18%. That means gas, electric, everything you use for energy is an 18% increase from where we were last year at the same time. 18%. It's crazy.
And also,
how high it is right now.
When Disney Plus first started, you know what I did? And I think at the time it's a great decision. I did the yearly bill. I paid a big amount of money. We did the math. I was like, you know what? That way I don't have to worry about every month this thing pulling change out of my pocket. Let me just pay up front this amount, and then I'll see you in a year. And that was when stuff was just pulling up here and there. Yep. Now in days, because like you said, everything's so expensive, I don't have time to be spending all day long, all week long on Disney Plus, because most of the shows that I'm watching nowadays are either on Prime Video or on HBO or stuff like that. And like, I can't afford to just have a catalog in the background for me. Like if stuff was cheaper and I didn't have to worry about like seeking as many hours as I can, I would still have the yearly bill set up for me. But we don't live in that position right now. Like, again, even now, and I don't know if you were going to bring it up, But also, Daredevil Born Again is coming out, and it's funny enough. It's ironically like wrapping things up. Same time as Mall Shadow Lord came out, and Invincible came out. So you had three big shows coming out at the exact same time, and then halfway through, The Boys kick into gear, and now Invincible's about to conclude, and now Mall's about to conclude, and now Daredevil's about to conclude. And it's all going to be left is The Boys. So you have to take in consideration that people as like you have to make your options of like what are you going to watch on right now. I haven't seen The Boys yet, so I knew I don't have to worry about that show. But everything else, I was like, all right, that's the schedule for the next month was these three shows.
Yeah, and Monarch. Right now, we said this about a month ago that this was going to be a really like challenging time of the year because we got so many things coming out. Now, do I think there's some people? Let's jump on the other side of this. Do I think that some people walked away from Daredevil Born Again because they didn't like it? Yes, probably. I think season 1 was a rough season, but I do want to point out that even with season 1 being rough, the show, if you go across the different critical sites, and we're going to look at multiple ones because I'm trying to do my due diligence here. You look at Daredevil season 1, Daredevil Born Again season 1, 87 and 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. If you look over here at Metacritic, 77.3 over here. And if you look at IMDb, 8.1 out of 10 for Daredevil Born Again season 1 on average. So it wasn't like the show was poorly received in season 1, even if it wasn't the best season, if that makes any sense. So you have to look at outside factors contributing to the show's low. Like Disney Plus went from $11.99 to $18.99 in 1 year.
Yeah.
$11.99 a month to $20 a month a year in 1 year's time. And I'll be clear, I don't think Disney Plus warrants a $20 a month subscription. I don't think it does.
While that price increased in the 1 year, the economy got worse.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like people are being very, very choosy about what subscription services they're paying for. They just are. So I don't think this is one of those things where you have to sound the alarm and go, oh shit, what are we going to do? I really think it's just the state of things as it is right now. I bet if I look over at some of the other Disney or some of the other shows that are airing and looked at their numbers, they're probably also stuttering a little bit. I'm pretty sure they are. I haven't looked yet, but I'm going to guess they are. I'm going to guess a lot of numbers are stuttering a little bit. The master here says Invincible, Boys, Spider Noir, all on Prime, which most people have, whereas those on Disney Plus, I'm sure less people have. Disney Plus is actually, I think, the second most subscribed service next to Netflix. Last time I checked. I'm pretty sure. But Prime is a different thing because it's included separately. Although Prime is now charging like $5 a month to watch their video service. Because that doesn't come free with Prime anymore. Yeah, it's an additional fee now.
That's stupid.
Yeah. Andrew says that the core Marvel audience is still watching the MCU stuff. The general audience is tapped out. You say that, but then Agatha all along crushed it in viewership numbers. And Agatha's not anywhere near as popular as Daredevil is in the zeitgeist. So if we're trying to make an argument that they're done with the Marvel stuff, I find that hard to believe considering look. I guarantee Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be an incredible box office hit.
We had Wonder
I guarantee
Man,
it is.
People loved it, and it's already getting a season 2. So
I was so happy by that.
I think this idea of Marvel fatigue is actually no money fatigue. I think it's fatigue of people not having extra money to spend on $20 a month subscription services. And also, I know that doesn't play well to the outrage content, right? It doesn't play well to go, people are broke and that's why people aren't paying for these subscription services. That doesn't play well. It's not clickable. It's not clickable if you title your video, people can't watch Daredevil Born Again because they have to choose between this and milk. Like that doesn't play well. It's better to go woke slop doesn't do well and people tuned out, or get woke go broke Daredevil Born Again season 2. That gets clicks because it's the juvenile way of framing stuff. And it's what really annoys me on here is it's just garbage talk. That's all it is.
Yep, there's no nuance to those conversations.
And also like dare I say that, like, you know, superhero fatigue and all that stuff. It's like, no, it's like the stories we've been getting more nowadays either are too similar, and when one or two projects from said franchises don't feel similar at all and feel unique and feel like they enhance the franchise, that's when they really sparked out. A la, for me, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms and Wonder Man. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms it's about a dude, a lunkhead, that doesn't know better what he's walking into, trying to remain decent in a effed up world.
Decent in an indecent time, yeah.
He doesn't have to take down a dragon. He doesn't have to get laid. Doesn't have to get married to another rich, you know, girl or dude or whatnot. It's all about dude just trying to remain decent. And oh, by the way, he's got the next heir to the biggest family wanting not to be an heir. Like, that is simple and yet different. Wonder Man. It's about a dude who wants to be an actor and make it in Hollywood, who so happens to have...
He's got all these powers, but he just wants to be an actor.
And it's like, okay, so there's no end of the world scenario? It's literally a dude trying to make it, and, you know, the FBI or the DOJ, whatever, are on his ass just because he picked up abilities. And that's just like, that is so fresh and different. And the fact that, like, again, I, you know, go back and watch my video, selfish plug. I was not, you know, hyped for that show at all. I was like, you know what? The thank God for those trailers that intrigued me. And I believe in Yaya. And Ben Kingsley's character, I could have not been less of a fan going into the show. And then I walked out of the show and I went, oh my gosh, I can't believe I need flattery more in my life than I did then. And so, like, it all has to do with, like, what you choose to put out. You know, that's why WandaVision was so good when it came out, because she wasn't saving the world. She was just coping. She missed her loved one. And it was in the middle, or like right as the pandemic was wrapping up, and a lot of us could use something like that. You know, X-Men 97 like was the miracle of, like, we didn't think that first season would do what it did. And it's all about a dude who was fighting this team that he's now on, trying to accept the challenge his old friend gave him to be better. Not just do your same routine, but be better. And managing people's inner conflicts and self-doubts. And, like, again, stuff has to hit either differently than what we're used to, or it has to be the right timing. That's why 97 and Andor hit when it did hit.
Because they faced all those odds while the cards were constantly stacked against them. The world was giving them the middle finger at every turn, left and right. And they chose, they had their bumps, they had their slumps, but they had people around them. And they fought tooth and nail to be the good people in a time surrounded by bad.
In their shows and in real life, that was a rare thing. And again, I felt bad for all these creators who had to answer all these questions of, like, were you trying to say this? It's like, trying to tell a story. It just happens that it's still relatable, art, that it's still relevant.
Art imitating life, life imitating art works both ways.
So Andrew, this is really weird because, and this is why look, no offense to you, I don't know you, so this is not meant to be offensive, but I've heard the argument that Daredevil is not superhero enough. I've heard the argument that shows like Penguin is not superhero enough because it's not a show about Batman. I hear these arguments that these superhero shows, Wonder Man is not really a superhero show. So superhero fatigue doesn't make sense when you have a story that doesn't follow a traditional superhero story. Like, you're not watching an origin story of Spider-Man. You're watching a deconstructed story about a hero, which is something different. So when you say superhero fatigue, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? Superhero stuff. What does that mean? Like, what does that actually mean? I feel like it's too broad of a term because we have so many different types of superhero stuff out there. Like, it's just, what does that actually mean in practice?
So we've been going away from this for a while, but for a couple of years there, I think what that should have meant, people weren't really using it in this way. And this feels weird for me to say because I'm very up and down when it comes to this individual, but actually kind of like the way that Gunn said it. He's like, people aren't getting, like, they're not fatigued from superhero projects. They're just fatigued from mediocre superhero projects. Yeah. It's like we want ones that stand out, ones that speak to us. And you're like, granted, is something going to speak to everybody the same way? No, that's the beautiful thing about having a difference of opinion.
But let me tell you why that's a problem. Let me tell you why that's a problem.
What?
We can't ask for billion-dollar movies, but also ask for stories that speak to a specific audience. You can't have both of those things. It doesn't work. Because a movie's not going to make $2 billion if it doesn't appeal to a larger group of people. It has to have more than one group.
I don't think we should go into a movie asking it to make a certain amount of money.
No, but what I'm saying is James Gunn's comment, if you think about it, it speaks to that. When he said mediocre, mediocre to me means it's just okay and it's going to appeal to like a niche audience, right? That's what that tells me. Mediocre doesn't mean like, what does that mean in the metric of like a movie itself? Like, does it mean that everybody thinks the movie is mediocre? That's an impossible standard.
So
that doesn't exist.
What I think that more so means is that, it appealed to some people. It just, whether it comes down to the material itself or the way it's marketed, then
mediocre isn't the necessary condition.
Then or it's too derivative. I think people don't want too derivative stories.
I mean, like when you tell me mediocre, I think that means that the movie is objectively just mid, right? And that's fine if that's what you mean. But if we know there are people that love a certain type of movie and the other audience thinks it's mediocre, then it's not actually mediocre. That's a subjective opinion about it.
Well, there were a handful of projects there for a year or two, close to 3, where it didn't feel like you were getting, a story-driven film or show. There wasn't a creative voice behind it. A lot of them felt very studio-driven, very by the numbers, and at least I saw that's what people were getting kind of tired of, is that same sort of by the numbers type of product.
Well, like, can you give me an example of what you're talking about? Just one thing so I can kind of understand what you're talking about.
I mean, even though I like this movie, a somewhat recent example I can think of is Brave New World, where people walked away from that. They're like, okay, this was fine, but it didn't blow my socks off or anything. Granted, I like the movie more than most people, but a lot of the reception I heard coming out of that movie was, yeah, this just feels like another kind of middle of the road Marvel project that didn't have any sort of unique thing to say, or it did, but it was buried by a bunch of other things here. You knew there was a lot of studio interference going into it, which feels to be that seems to be the golden phrase these days, because every time one of those things doesn't perform well, studio interference are the first 2 words you hear. So that is sort of what I mean.
Okay, so let me frame this then, because you're talking about James Gunn's comment, and that's an example. So now I understand what you're saying. So the issue with that is it's still not an absolute, in my opinion. It might be the majority or it might be a general consensus, but there's still going to be people out there that did like that movie, which means that the movie would not be mediocre to them. That's why that statement doesn't feel like it's not a necessary condition, in the sense that a movie doesn't have to be mediocre and for people to dislike it, if that makes any sense.
No,
some people are just going to dislike it because they don't like it. It doesn't mean that it's mediocre.
I think derivative is the better word.
Yes,
maybe mediocre, because you said you chose
mediocre is subjective. Derivative is more objective.
I mean, either derivative or I don't know if there's another one word and adjective to describe it, but maybe just didn't reach enough people. I don't know. Maybe
I think of Thunderbolts as an anomaly, and we're like, listen, I went to San Diego and I saw the trailer and I was like, you know what? If they play their cards right, I don't know what they're gonna do with that movie, but that might be a wild card movie.
Yep.
And I go into that movie, and the way the villain, even though I consider it a side of antagonistic, how they stop the antagonistic person from hurting people, and not even ending the world, just hurting people with a fucking hug.
Yeah.
With a fucking hug, and I had not seen that many big movies like that do that before. And that's why that movie was the best superhero, comic book related superhero movie of the year for me. I'm like, because as much as I love the Fantastic Four, and as much as I had blast with Superman, that one, Thunderbolts, was the one that I did not see coming at all, where they were going with it. And why now going into Doomsday, me and Jake are wearing our X-Men t-shirts going into it, but I'm like, how's Yelena? How's Bob? Yeah. How's Walker? How's it like I'm going into that that way, and I think that's why. And again, people, I can't believe I'm saying this, because we brought up Wonder Man. That show was on hold for what, a year or two? We were Yaya recently were like, we didn't know when it was going to come out, but it came out, and it hit. It hit and it's a lot of variety. I think the word for me that I've been thinking about is derivative. And what I've been telling you, Eric, what I've been telling you, Jake, what I've been telling you, Omega, I want future superhero comic related films where it's not the fucking end of the world after each one.
Yeah.
What I keep asking, just save a block. Save a grandma. Save a.
I think that, and I think that's what Spider-Man is going to be. Is going to be just a smaller story, at least from what we can tell so far.
And that the best thing you can get from that is, and this has been like my my jam for years now, it seems. But whenever you go smaller with the stakes, it lets you go deeper with the characters.
Yes. Again, imagine.
No, I agree with that.
Imagine if the first X-Men the MCU does is not an end of the world story, but it's literally the X-Men helping out the neighborhood that's the closest to the X-Mansion, and like they're helping them because either they're going to lose their house, and there's some villain behind all of it, and like that. Imagine if that's the first X-Men story, and it's like how much people are going to care about these characters beyond them being big high IP franchise characters.
Or what I would love to see them do for a first installment, honestly, we have all these movies where like people are going, like to the reaches of space, places like that. Good God, Dalton.
No, not that.
You have all these stories where they're going to the reaches of space, different universes. What I think would be a great first installment for the MCU X-Men, instead of going like way up here into space, you go below the streets and into the sewers where you see all those Morlocks, those mutants that can't show their faces in public because of how they look, the mutants that don't get to live in a mansion, the mutants that don't get protection, and save those mutants from persecution, because that is your first step.
Talk about homelessness and use the Morlocks as a
anchor
what's the word?
Essentially.
As a reference, as a metaphor to homelessness, like talk about that. Like imagine they can deal with homelessness.
That's woke. That's woke, Ronan. That's woke.
And being woke. That or being
pick up the X-Men. They're the woke men. That's what that's what they are.
I mean, I see it now. Not like where you're going, but it's like
well, the fact that a lot of those Morlocks are also like they look very different than your average mutant. You could even have that be some analogy to talk about people that are like born with deformities.
Thank you, Kamal, for I appreciate this. You're really proving my point. Like everything we talk about is very subjective. And this is why I think these absolute statements about fatigue don't really resonate with me, because I don't see that. I think that those are, I'll be honest, and this is no offense to anybody, I think it's very lazy to say X fatigue about some general type of movie or whatever, because we've seen that doesn't really mean much. I think when you use a term like derivative, or like, say for example, how many versions of Superman have we seen deconstructed over the years? So many different versions. Like there's still some we're looking at right now. I think derivative, unless you're telling something new with that derivative story, unless you're doing something different with it, people are going to get complacent and they're going to become apathetic to it. I think that's a bigger issue that we have, where people go, I don't hate it, I just don't care about it. And that's even worse. You should have people that love something or hate something, because at least then you're getting some kind of emotional response from them where they might tune into it. Right. They might talk about it. They might tune into it. When people become apathetic, that's it. It's DOA. And then when people say no one cares about something, that is apathy. When people reach the apathy level, that's it. You're out at that point.
I mean, really, it should, in my opinion, be like easy to keep some of these things fresh, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel necessarily to tell something new with these characters. Do what's often referred to as a remix strategy, where you take like 85% of something that's already established, already exists, and then add in there a 15% that's unique, that's new, that hasn't been done before. You change it instantly like that.
Well, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, but you can put new rims on it and put it on a new car. Like you can do that, but the wheel can stay the same.
I go back to this example a lot in recent conversations, but fucking Superman and Lois. Yeah, they've showed him and Lois together as a couple before, and they've done the dad angle in the Rebirth comics. They've never done the parents angle in live action for that long of a season. I'm not even counting Superman Returns, really, but like they had them as loving, caring parents for 4 seasons of that show, had them raising a family, and that's really not something you had seen with Superman.
No, I love that about it. That's what I mean. When you have stories like that, I feel like people are less likely to be apathetic because you're telling something they're interested in. Remember when I talked about Stranger Things, Tales from 85 earlier, and I was kind of giving criticism on it? That's one of my issues, was I didn't really feel anything for the show at all. And that's the problem. I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, I know these characters. I understand what's happening. It's not badly done. I just didn't really care about it. And I think when you have an audience where they start to it's background noise for them, once you achieve that level, it's really hard to come back from that. And I think that's where a lot of these like IPs are. I think Indiana Jones is in one of those weird spots where people love Indiana Jones, but they just cannot seem to get it right with Indiana Jones. In recent
especially
movies.
with the amount of money they're going to spend, it's just like...
Right.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It really is.
Can I pitch you something, Eric, that I've already pitched you, if I want to do it again?
Yeah.
Come the year 2029 or whenever James Gunn says, okay, it's time to do it. Someone gave us a good script to do it. When they choose to do Animal Man, specifically the Grant Morrison era, you don't need him saving the world.
Right.
You don't need him going to another galaxy and whatnot. All you gotta do is just make this character figure out how he's gonna pay the bills and feed his family.
Right.
And on the side, show him what it costs to having the powers to absorb animals and different creatures' abilities, and how at points it's kind of gross and appalling, but it's like that's the ability. That's how you keep something like that fresh. It's like, okay, he's gonna save the world. It's like, no, he wants to be a superhero, but you gotta pay the bills. If not, you're out of house. And like I can't wait for when DC Studios or Marvel tackles that more head on of like these people want to save the world and trying to be heroes, but they still have to go to a place and sleep, and they have to go eat somewhere. And how does that manage and whatnot? Like I hope they do that one day to tackle. And I think with that character, there is a avenue to do that with.
Can I piggyback off that, please?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Omega. Were you saying something?
No. I was gonna basically all I was saying was, well, when y'all talk about having like lower stakes movies or like more like not necessarily street level, but just not as crazy like superhero movies. That's what I go to superhero movies for. That's just me. That's what I want. I want the crazy out in space bullshit. Because one of the movies I really liked was Jupiter Ascending. Everyone else fucking hated that movie. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely crazy and off the wall. But that's just me. It's just
Channing Tatum one.
I actually forgot about that movie, so you just brought it up. That's funny.
It's very hard to do high. No, it's just very hard to do like high sci-fi stuff if your name isn't Star Wars.
So I'm not saying doing those world-ending takes is a bad thing. I just think we've gotten so much of it in recent years.
You gotta space them out right. Like I can't go into a Captain America or a Spider-Man movie or Deadpool Wolverine, and then 6 months later I do an Avengers movie, and it's like, oh, we're gonna do another save the universe, save all stuff, because then that feels like, well, where's the build up to the stakes like that? Like I'm not opposed to like you doing end of the world stuff. You just gotta time it right. And then when you choose to do that storyline, you fucking go for it, and it can feel like the last track. It can't feel like the last album. Yeah.
But no, just to piggyback off your thing, and like you brought up the story pitch for that one character. You know where I'm going with this already.
Yep.
But I mean, if they ever decide to do something with fucking Ted Grant, if they ever decide to, the movie or show, however you want to do it, it writes itself. You've got a guy who is kind of past his prime in boxing age and doesn't really have a lot left going for him. He doesn't have the name to rely on. Maybe he's kind of in the dumps, but he sees in the neighborhood that he's in, sees potential in a lot of these, kids that are, like street orphans, street rats, kids of the streets that are very susceptible to gang violence if they take down the wrong paths. And then all of a sudden, you turn the lights back on in that gym, get the place opening back up just to give those kids a haven to go to. And without even realizing it, you're prepping some of the next generation of heroes right there in that dirty gymnasium. And you don't even know it's happening at the time, but something really simple like that, it's like, hey, I want to give these kids a place that they can have a safe haven in. I want to, be able to keep the funds for this place going. Someone who feels like they've kind of lost their purpose, but they find it again through the younger people out there. I feel like it's such an easy thing that writes itself. And kind of like what they're doing with Clayface, where like you could really just market it as a body horror movie. You could do the same thing with a movie like that, market it as like a boxing, like street type movie.
Right. Well, I feel like that was a great chat. We got to move on though. We've been kind of off the path for a second. We got a few more topics, but no, you're great. I think everybody got a chance to get their say on it. We got some super chats here. We've reached the goal in the Reloaded chat. We are 2 away in the Debunks chat, but we've reached the goal in the Reloaded chat. I'll put the poll back up in just a second. But here are some of the comments we have for this. South Texas Shark went on a $2 spree here, so that's good. Thank you so much, South Texas Shark, for this. Did you see the Mexico 86 trailer? I have not, but I have it open in a tab. We'll watch it at the end of the stream before we talk about Daredevil. For anybody that's going to stick around for that, I haven't seen it. It's. I'm sure that. Are you excited, Roto?
So I'm passively excited because A, it's got Diego Luna, and B, Mexico 86. For those who know, people we're referencing, that is the World Cup of 1986, and how. That has a core memory with not me because I wasn't born yet. My family, especially my Mexican side family, and how they've told me stories of that year and what happened going into it. And so I haven't seen it yet. I'm intrigued by it. It has Diego Luna, so I'm on board, and it has to do with football or soccer as well as my fellow countrymen here. And that's also coming out this year of the World Cup, which I have mixed feelings about this World Cup.
This is going to be crazy. We could talk for an hour about the bullshit going on with the World Cup right now, but yeah. So, all right, $2 super chat. We're going to go through these because South Texas Shark asked some fun questions, and we'll just do. We will actually do roundtable here. What is your favorite liquid to drink? Mine would. Mine would probably be. I like lemonade. Lemonade's probably my favorite.
Nice.
I love
like
lemonade.
Too.
What about you, Ronan? We're gonna do clockwise because Omega's got some bullshit.
I love soda, but I've been cutting down on it for a while now, so that's a good thing. But when I can get my vice on for a quick second, I don't mind some horchata and some jarritos.
Oh, okay.
Like you throw horchata, jarritos at me. Okay.
What about you, Jake?
Drinking a lot of water and coffee these days. I have both right here at my desk. And in June, I will actually have been soda free for 4 years. So it's kind of an achievement. Yeah. And a good substitute for that. I drink like V8 Fusions that have like a lot of like natural fruit and stuff in them. But also a lot of Gatorades, specifically the cool blue flavor. It's my favorite one.
Okay. Omega, you seem like you really want to answer this question. I'm afraid to hear your response, but go ahead.
Yes. No, I'm kidding.
Oh no! God!
I knew some dumb shit like that was gonna come out.
No, cranberry juice. I really like cranberry juice.
All right, and we're gonna do.
No,
we're gonna do. We're gonna skip one of the South Texas Shark. We'll get back to it in a second, but we're gonna do this one first. What's your favorite kind of weather? Mine is like mild warm, so like somewhere between 60 and 75, somewhere around there is usually my favorite. I can do a little bit colder or a little bit warmer, but that's like my sweet spot. So, let's go again. You first.
I like an overcast vibe. I like it when it rains here and there, but I think the sweet spot for me is like if it's a sunny day, that it better be like 77, 78 degrees with a little bit of breeze. Like that's that Cali weather that I love so much. It's like perfect. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's somewhere in the middle and it's sweet. And I don't have to wear a jacket all the time.
Okay. What about you, Jake?
Okay, y'all are gonna think I'm batshit insane for this one, but I actually don't mind it. We actually had this weather today. It was really nice, where you've got a light cloud cover where the sun's not blazing in your face. You've got light clouds there. It's the temperature, maybe low 50s to low 60s is kind of the range because I like just that little bit of a cool breeze. I could wear a t-shirt and shorts in January and be completely content. Be absolutely not cold in the slightest. But yeah, that is my ideal kind of weather. which is why I'm a little nervous for San Diego this year, because I feel like that weather's going to kind of kick me in the ass in a way I haven't felt in a while.
Right.
Yeah, but that's my.
What about you, Omega?
I'll see. Kind of like what JS Elder said. I actually like
Overcast and autumn weather.
Yeah, like, well, not necessarily the autumn weather. Like, say, like sometime during the summer where it's like maybe either spring where it's like anywhere between like 75 to 65, like either just before it rains or just after it rains. Like that.
Who said Punani season?
I mean, that's some bullshit I'd say, but
okay, all right. No, I just want to say something funny. So, like, when I was going through college, like we'd be walking across campus, and this is definitely a South thing. You can probably relate to this a little bit, Eric, but you would get these people that, like, you'd be walking there, and all of a sudden the weather starts to change. And I told people, I was like, oh, it's about to rain. And the person I was next to had come up to where I am in Carolinas. They came up here from Australia. So completely different kind of weather that they're used to. And I said out loud, I said, oh, it's about to rain. And they go, how do you know? I said, I can smell it. And they looked at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, you can
in this area. Yeah, we're close enough together that I know what that means.
Yeah, you completely can.
It's a specific type of feeling you get in smelling the air. It's like you can feel the temperature hit a certain thing, and you can smell that liquid in the sky that's going to rain down on you like a golden shower.
Right. God damn it. But no, like, it's the condensation. You can smell the shift that happens.
Yeah.
People who don't know that, they look at you like you're on drugs.
All right. Let's talk about this. I made a video about this today on my channel where I talked about it a little bit. James Gunn pauses the Authority. Maybe someday, not soon. Booster Gold and Paradise Lost series still in the works. So let's scroll down here a little bit.
Anything about
trying to read this whole thing? Huh? What was that?
Said anything about Swamp Thing? I'd kind of like to know.
Nope, nothing. He goes, I never had an intention of writing or directing the Authority. The script wasn't quite there, but more importantly, it didn't work in terms of the larger DCU, both in terms of the story and practical concerns. Maybe someday, not soon. All right. And then we go on here and say, it's a very big movie if you're going to do it properly. Some of the story elements, perhaps that are in Superman and some of the other films, were fast-tracked. Step up a little on the Authority. No shit. If you've read the comic book, you'll know that this is not your neighborhood Justice League.
Nope.
It says here, it's the one that got messed with through all of the other things that were happening. The script had a harder time coming along. And I wanted to mention, I think I have it over here in my notes. Where is it at here? So these were the first 10 projects that were revealed when they talked about the Authority. We had Creature Commandos, Waller, Superman Legacy at the time, Lanterns, the Authority, Paradise Lost, The Brave and the Bold, Booster Gold, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Swamp Thing. Those were the original 10 in the Gods and Monsters lineup.
Yep.
And so far we got Creature Commandos, we got Superman, Lanterns is coming soon, and Supergirl's coming. That's 4 out of 10 projects, and Clayface wasn't even part of that originally.
Nope. And neither was the Teen Titans thing that's being worked on now.
If it even is.
Yeah, well, that, but also the like Robin puppet
dynamic duo
thing. Yeah, that wasn't announced back then either.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed by this because the Authority was one of the projects that I was. If you guys go back and watch the Nerdcast back when we were talking about this, it's one of the projects I was the most excited about. I like the idea of this Wildstorm universe and these characters, and I always thought it was interesting. We talk about deconstructing or taking something derivative but making it different, and the Authority kind of was essentially like an Elseworlds Justice League that just decided that democracy is taking too long, so we're going to do what we need to do to speed that up. And the characters are really fucked up. Some of the characters on the Authority are absolutely, completely fucking bonkers on that team.
I was surprised they didn't want to intermix something like that with Superman. Have you read Superman
and the Authority, right?
Yeah. You think you'd want to mix that.
Well, the thing is, you could have done something like that if we had the Authority before Superman, but the problem is now it's really hard to do that because who are the Authority in this world? We got the Engineer in Superman. Where does that character connect with the Authority and anything they've done? It's very confusing to me.
You know what a fine substitute would be? If they wanted to do a version of Superman versus the Elite in some sort of installment later on, they could do that instead, because like they come in after he's been established for a bit, and they say, hey, like, well, why can't we get a version of Superman that puts down his enemies and acts a little more ruthlessly? Then the public gets exactly what they fucking want, and it proves Superman right.
Yeah, the Authority would have been a really good opposition to Superman, other than the Justice Gang, because the Authority actually could have been those corporate superheroes. That's what that team could have been in that world.
I think the Authority would have been a lot more gray.
Well, maybe, but I think the thing is, you could have. I mean, we already had the Engineer working for Lex Luthor. Come on, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm saying the Authority would have been a lot more gray than what you saw out of the Justice Gang.
Maybe, but if you're going to have the Engineer working with Lex, you could have easily had part of the Authority working with Lex. You could have put a couple more characters on there from that team, because now we've got this. Yeah, no, I'm not saying you. I'm just meaning like from James' perspective. Like, I feel like for me, the Authority ship has sailed, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way to properly do it now unless you do it opposite the Justice League. So we're talking like, if you don't want to do like a straight on Justice League versus an evil team of characters, you could do Justice League versus the Authority, because they do line up in terms of power scaling. You could actually make that work. You see what the Engineer was able to do with Superman. So the power scaling works.
I would have thought that a team, of characters that the large majority of the general audience doesn't know fuck all about, and James can do whatever he wants with, thought that would have been right up his alley. But
yeah.
Because look
I don't
Guardians, look at Commandos. I feel like it could have worked easy.
Well, we already talked about back then. The Authority is like 3 steps down the way from those characters. They've already lived their lives in other comic books pretty much at that point by the time we get to the Authority. So even there, you'd be jumping onto the train while the train is already moving. You know what I mean? So for me, I feel like just leaving it behind now, really for me is I have to come to grips with we're probably not going to get an Authority movie, a cartoon or a TV show.
I had that feeling going to it, but granted, I wasn't too hyped for the Authority when it was announced.
Right.
I was like, okay. I was more like Jake. I was like, what about Swamp Thing? What about Booster Gold? What about this and that? And at this point, with again a lot of stuff, whether you take it with a grain of salt, believe it or not believe it, at this point, if it is true that Adria Arjona is joining DCU, if you want me to chill on a lot of these announcements, just make her Diana. I'm like, all right, you got a good actress for Diana. She's a paisana, good grace and whatnot. But I'm also wondering, because it's been 4 years since he did that video of Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, and I'm like,
3 years, yeah.
Fucking Christ. I wonder if either at San Diego or later on, he might tell us, okay, well, what's next on Chapter 1? Because he did flat out say, what we're telling you right now is not all of Chapter 1. It's just a portion of Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we've caught up with, like you said, now almost 4 out of 10 of stuff that you announced, and you've brought in new projects. Once we get to Clayface, that's like, all right, what's next? Like what's the plan and whatnot? And so I'm wondering when they will choose to announce that, and not just rely on the Elseworld stuff. When I mean Elseworlds, not just on the Batman stuff, because that's a whole nother conversation on its own thing.
Right.
I was like, okay, the main continuity that each thing's supposed to stand on its own but be interconnected subtly here and there. What's going to come out after that? And like again, Booster Gold was another one that I was looking forward to seeing when that will pan out. And,
yeah, we'll see. Before we go any further, a couple things, Jake. Sorry, I'll let you go. Just remind people, this is the last time you're going to get to vote on the poll here. So if you want to vote on one of these options, do the 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat. You just have to type it in the chat to vote on the poll up in the corner. And we're going to look at the winner of this poll before we move on to the next topic. Go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
I was just going to say, we also have the Blue Beetle animated series coming out too. So that's another
project.
What's
going on with that? I haven't heard anything else about that really.
That's another one that like was announced after the whole, James Gunn video in January of 23 that we still haven't really heard anything about.
It says here, Booster Gold is... better news. James Gunn revealed on Threads that Booster Gold TV series remains in production, says here, or in development, while Paradise Lost is in extreme development. So those are in development. So they're not even... We're look, I don't want to sound any alarms here. You guys know I hate doing this. We're reaching a point where we might not have any DC stuff for like an entire year. If something doesn't start filming like very soon.
You already had that in 2024.
Yeah, we might be going through that again though, because if you look at it now, we have Supergirl, we have Lanterns, we have Clayface. That's all this year. That's it.
Well, we're getting isn't my
What are we
adventure
getting?
coming out this year?
No. I'm talking about just DCU stuff, not DC stuff in general. Like if we're talking about the DCU, that's all that's being filmed or all that's done right now. Booster Gold is in development, but nothing's really moving on that. What is it? The Paradise Lost, the Mascara Game of Thrones show or whatever, is in extreme development, but nothing is filming. Nothing is. Yeah. We should have like 2 projects in post-production right now.
Yeah, because aren't they? They're filming Man of Tomorrow right now, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, like that's the only one. That's
actually, is that still filming or is that done?
I think it's still filming. I don't think it's wrapped yet. But no, like that's
I think
the only.
it just started filming not too long ago because Rachel was on Hot Ones. They think I'm about to start Man of Tomorrow.
Right, so we're doing that, but we're not touching the other stuff that was already on the slate. That's the issue. Is we fast tracked the Man of Tomorrow, which isn't part of this Chapter 1 slate, just like Clayface wasn't. Look, I have no problem with shifting stuff around, but we've got things that you teased for people, and now you're just like, we're not doing it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, Paige said this back when we first talked about this, and I don't know, I think somebody else here might have said it too. I don't think he should have announced all those movies and all those projects.
I had a sneaking suspicion that maybe those weren't even all ones that he wanted to do. He just basically got told, hey, put some of this together with just so maybe you have the face of having a plan. And maybe that's wrong, but considering how much of a clusterfuck the last DCU slates, if you can even call it a slate, was, when they didn't know what they were doing, they were just throwing 20 things at the wall and praying one of them stuck. Maybe they just said, hey, put these things together in an announcement so it looks like we have a plan. Maybe
I also want to point out...
Maybe that's a little bit of a doom take, but it's still a possibility.
I want to point out with Clayface, as much as I fucking love that trailer, and I think it might be a sleeper hit this year in terms of movies because it looks that good to me, it's another Batman character. You know what I mean? It's another Batman character. It's another Batman villain that's getting a solo movie.
Well, the difference between that and something like Joker is that a good amount of people who go into this movie won't know that out the gate.
No, I think that they're leaning into that for sure, but the executives aren't thinking about that. They thought, Batman character, this is probably good. You know what I mean? This is something we'll run with. We could have done a solo Lex Luthor movie. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're in a weird spot where I'm not really sure what the fuck is going on with the DCU.
And they greenlit, or I don't know if they're working on supposedly that Jimmy Olsen show that wasn't part of the Chapter 1 thing.
Oh, either. I forgot about that. You're right.
Yep. And the Mr. Miracle thing.
Yeah, but Mr. Miracle, I haven't heard anything else about that either. So, I basically what I'm saying is the fact that we're not even sure where things are going and what they're doing is a problem for hype. It's a problem for getting people hype. Clayface, I'll be honest. I think Clayface has been talked about more in terms of like hype than a lot of the other DC projects that we've had recently in terms of what I'm seeing on social media. So we'll see. What is it here? W.R. Den says, the Authority would have worked well in the Peacemaker Creature Commandos DC corner. Animate Peacemaker 3, crossover with Creature Commando 2, and slowly intro the Authority. I've said from the beginning, just give me an animated Authority movie that's rated R. Like that, I would be okay with that. I wouldn't... Look, do I want it in live action? Do I want to see Apollo and Midnighter in live action? Yes, 100%. Will I concede to an animated version that is canon to that universe? 100%. That's just how I feel about it. But again, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer about this. We need a balance of big and small things. We need those big things that keep people sort of looking around for what's next. As much as we love it, Mr. Miracle and Creature Commandos is not something people are checking for. Could Mr. Miracle be really good and blow people away? I think so. I think it could. Is Creature Commandos a big, huge thing for them? No, I don't think Creature Commandos is. I think it's just it's a passion project for James Gunn. I enjoyed season 1. I'm looking forward to season 2. Does it have the same riz as Clayface? No. Does it have the same pull as Superman or Batman? No, not at all. I think that's the problem.
I don't think that's okay, because that's a unique thing. On okay, that's arguably for me their best project they've put out thus far.
What?
And it feels nothing like the other ones. I'm like, well, that's part of the thing I wanted to go after when they pitched this universe. But I agree with you. You got to do big and small at the same time, so balance it out. And you don't have to worry about the budget.
Shrink that?
No, it's one size fits all. That's all it does.
Unisex.
But I want to say the winner is top 3 greatest redemption arcs by 56%.
I'm guessing this is fictional characters and not real people, right?
Yes, 100%. So greatest redemption arcs for sure.
Wow, that director one got no votes.
None. People don't care. Let me put that on the list.
Well,
by the
Eric,
way,
I guess people are apathetic about that one, so they don't care about it.
True. All right, so let me look at my schedule before we move to the next topic. We got a couple small topics, and then
need to be seeing all of my bedrooms.
and then we're going to talk about anybody that wants to stick around and talk about Daredevil. We'll talk about Daredevil. Why did that go away? That's so weird. Scott Buck has the greatest redemption arc.
Oh,
No.
Hey guys, I hate to break it to you. April Fool's was 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Did you guys go over how David Zaslav didn't want to sell WBD? He was literally forced by law. What? When did that come out? Hold on.
What you talking about, Willis? Also, Eric, are you a Power Ranger shirt? What is that?
Justice League.
Oh, okay. I could not tell. I'm sorry.
The Jim Lee cover in black and white. Yeah.
I'm fucking blind.
Let's see. I'm gonna look that up on Google and see. I don't know. We're gonna talk about Daredevil in just a moment, guys. Don't worry. Tonight had some big stuff for sure. All right, hold on. Let's see here.
Freaking neighbors yelling at.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear that shit.
I don't.
No.
I can't tell if that was yours or mine. I can hear it over here on mine too.
They were yelling earlier today.
Yeah, I think we can hear it.
I'm like, oh my god.
No, it's either this pisses me off. I'm sorry. It's either someone yelling or someone revving up their fucking motorcycle or car at fucking 1:30 in the morning trying to show off. And every time they would do that, I would, if my window or my door was open, I would just pick my head out and be like, "You've got a little dick." Anyway.
Okay, so Xander Cross here says David Ellison basically stepped into David Zaslav's office, plopped down a bunch of money, and swiped the company up without his say, and he was apparently legally obligated to entertain. But that was after he put it up for sale, though. That's the thing, because you got to remember, David Ellison, they weren't the first company that came in looking to buy Warner Brothers. I'm looking now on Google, and I don't see anything. I don't see anything about it. It says here, he said that there was an older quote where he's forced to do layoffs and restructuring, cost cutting for the merger. I don't see the article you're talking about. Tell me where you read that at, and I'll be glad to look it up. If it's like Deadline or somewhere, just tell me the name of the article and I can find it. Ronan says he has to head out. You heading out, Ronan?
Yeah, man. I got early work tomorrow, and then I got to finish some projects beforehand.
I fucking appreciate you stopping in tonight. We hadn't seen you in forever, though, so thank you for coming.
I know. I felt bad. I was like, I got to get back.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, everybody check out Ronan Unchained everywhere. YouTube. Are you TikTok anymore?
Yeah, he shows up a lot on my For You page.
I'm still talking it. I might try to stream on May the 4th on both YouTube and Twitch. I want to see how that's gonna work out. I could be wrong. But yeah, just didn't finish my coverage for Invincible, wrapping things up for Maul, Shadowlord, and Daredevil, and then prepping stuff for The Mandalorian, Grogu, and Spider Noir.
Okay, sounds good.
Take care,
Ronan.
Good seeing you guys.
Later, man.
All right, so I'm looking at my calendar, and obviously the 4th is not going to be a good day to do a game night because everybody's going to want to do their Star Wars content. So
4th is a Thursday?
It's a Monday.
Oh.
So I'm thinking Monday, May the 11th for a game night, an early game night. So like 10, start at 10, like we did last time.
Okay. Would you do 3 of them again or more?
I mean, we can do as many as we can get in like 2 hours. So whatever we get in 2 hours.
The 11th is the first day I actually do my Star Wars D&D game. Well, not D&D, it's their own like Fantasy Flight.
Yeah. What time are you doing it?
I don't know. I don't think she scheduled it.
We're going to be going for like 2 to 2.5 hours is usually what we do.
I'll probably end up showing up late then. Okay. Because usually we start at 11. No, we usually start at 8 until 11.
I will actually schedule that game night then like tonight. Like I'll schedule, it'll be up in the thing. Anybody who wants to come in can come in for sure.
Do whenever you need. I'll just drop. Whenever.
I still got to get up with you about that Phantasy Star game.
Dude, I've been trying to. Cause I don't know because like I'm free on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesday is kind of a decent day for me. It's just I work later that night, so I'm not doing too much that day. Saturday.
I've been bad about that, man. I'm sorry.
When I get done tonight, I got to run the new 24-man raid on Final Fantasy 14.
I gotta unlock that.
Yeah, I've been bad about that, man. I'm sorry.
I don't know when because I'm trying to get other people to join in, and it's like,
yeah. All right, so Cameron here with a $5 super chat says, I still think James Gunn is doing The Authority down the line. I think people are going to compare The Authority to The Boy. That's a really good point. I mean, it's also kind of like Invincible. It's like a sour superhero team that kind of does what they need to do to get the work done. I don't know. I am trying to process this in the best way I can, and that process is me just thinking we might not ever get it. And then if we do, I'll be really happy. If it ends up down the road that we end up getting it, I'll be excited about it. So
when does Invincible Versus come out?
Oh, that game?
Soon. Yeah, soon.
Yeah, it does. Benacross is asking about that. It looks decent. I'm more interested in the Avatar game, but hey, I'm interested in that too.
The Final Fantasy 14 expansion for Evercold, that trailer looks so fucking
do you see the whole like evolved and versus what we currently have?
Better, so much better.
I want
There's so much shit that I've got to get out and uploaded to clear my slate for Lego Batman.
Yeah, that's another one.
That comes out tomorrow, actually.
Damn.
That comes out Thursday. Yeah. Invincible Versus comes out Thursday.
Oh, I thought you were saying Lego Batman. I was like, no, the fuck it doesn't. I still got a month.
No, with Final Fantasy 14, obligatory Final Fantasy 14 talk for just a second. So they had the Fan Fest over this weekend, which I was paying attention to, and they announced a bunch of stuff. We're getting Beastmaster in like 3 months, which is going to be kind of fun. I mean, it's one of those things to. So
it's like Blue
So Omega, but the thing is that the reason why they're doing it is they want to have people something for them to do between that and the expansion that comes out in January because we're getting the expansion in January. But Evercold is a Norse world. It's literally like a Viking world where ice giants. They've got like this Norse mythology to it.
God of War Ragnarok or something.
Yes, but in a Final Fantasy game.
Frozen over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when they said like they had the retreat to the sky, I'm like, wait a minute, is that like in? I don't know if any of y'all played Chrono Cross, where if you go to like a certain time period, above the clouds it's like paradise, but below is this frozen wasteland. I'm like,
no, I think that's what it's going to be though. No, I think that's what it is.
Knowledge, Omega.
Yeah, because that's exactly where my went when I saw that. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it's like because look, I don't hate Dawn Trail, but it was a change of designed for. So like you have different types of Japanese storytelling, right? So Dawn Trail is not the one where you're the main character. You're kind of following the main character through the story.
Helping out the main character.
Yeah. People want to be the main character again. And that was one of the issues with Dawn Trail, I think, is that people didn't like helping somebody be the main character. So
that's one thing.
Evercold is doing that. So.
Say Chrono Trigger, not Chrono Cross.
That's one thing a lot of people are complaining about. Yeah, sorry. I knew what you meant when you said Chrono Cross.
Yeah.
My mind just went by.
Yeah, Zeal.
But that's what I see a lot of people complaining about with the Dragon Ball games, because we just got the Xenoverse 3 announcement. A lot of people are really sick of the whole creator character type thing for those games. That's actually one of the few series where I could take it or leave it. I didn't mind what they did in Xenoverse 1 and 2, and I actually thought it was kind of cool that, like, as a little bit of candy coating, if you wanted to, you could import your data from Xenoverse 1 and have your Xenoverse 1 character show up as like a massive hologram of a hero of the past in the city, just in Xenoverse 2, while your new created character is going around. But a lot of people want them to just follow like an established Dragon Ball main character for the third Xenoverse, like whether it's Goku or Tien or Yamcha or whoever the hell, really. But a lot of people are tired of creator characters in that aspect, and I honestly, like, I don't think people would be so tired of what are called avatar characters if people would just figure out how to do them right. But that's just me.
All right, so we got a couple of trailers to watch, and then we're going to answer the super chat from South Texas Shark, and then anybody that wants to stick around and talk about Daredevil, we can do that as well. Or if you don't care about spoilers, you can stick around for that as well. First trailer we're going to watch is it's a Master of the Universe trailer, I guess. It says Forces of Evil featurette. Who's excited for this movie? Show of hands. I am for sure excited. Omega, I guess. Are you excited? Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's see what this looks like, because it's probably going to get taken down. If you're watching this on playback, probably going to get removed. So.
Skeletor, the Hordes. These characters, they become so iconic. The great villains from my childhood, from the 80s. They were funny, or they were scary, or they looked cool. Skeletor was all three of those things.
I shall kill you one by one.
He's just an all-round bad guy.
Evil Lyn is just pure evil. All these iconic villains bring the world to life. Goatman, Spike-Or, Trapjaw.
Sometimes bad people are the absolute most fun.
I am the villain. Does it feel good?
Oh my God.
You notice whose face they didn't show in any of that?
Jared Leto's. This looks so fucking good, guys. Like I mean,
Skeletor's voice is growing on me, because I wanted this voice, He-Man. But you know what? Yeah. Fine.
I was like, all
I just fucking look. Yeah, Skeletor's voice isn't like the cartoon, but everything else on this looks incredible to me.
I don't know. I mean, as long as Skeletor doesn't, start asking He-Man for a reach around, I feel like everything's fine.
I don't know. I'm excited. Look, Xander Cross says, well, at least he's doing more acting than he did at Tron. Yeah, for sure.
My brother and I was talking about this one day, and we was like, it does. It's growing on me, though.
Oh my God, Jared!
About me with Jared Leto, he was actually decent in some movies, but it's like, I don't know. I guess people don't like Jared Leto, not necessarily his performances.
Yeah. It's Jared Leto himself. Jared Leto did an interview. They really want this project to prosper. Damn, that's hardcore. Fatman says, "R.I.P. Skeletor's goofy ass voice."
I do want the goofy voice though. I want him to be like.
Until we meet again.
Yeah, I want him to be that petty, gay, just asshole. I want that Skeletor from the 80s.
This is the trailer from Mexico '86. It's a Netflix trailer, so I'm pretty sure it's going to get pulled. I'm sorry Ronan didn't stick around. He was just a few minutes. He would have stayed a little bit longer. He would have caught it with us, but here we go. So that's a good one. I know Ronan wanted to see. I would love to hear his thoughts on that. Xana says, I've been watching the Narcos show, so this made me do a double take. Yeah. It's very Narcos coded. Even the style of it, because of the time
now
it took
this
place.
is not my type of movie whatsoever. However, I learned my lesson way back during Forrest Gump, and that was a historical fiction movie. Because here's a quick little story. I wanted to see The Mask, and my mom wanted to see Forrest Gump. So because they came out around the same time back then. So my mom was like, okay, how about we'll see The Mask first, and then after that we'll go see the movie she wanted to see, Forrest Gump. I was like, okay, yeah, fine. We saw The Mask. Okay, yeah, that was funny. That was cool. Then we saw Forrest Gump. I was like, oh my God, that movie's amazing. I was like 12 or 13 at the time. So yeah, and now I'm like, you know what? Shut up. Now I will give those type of movies a kind of like, I'll give them a chance. Like, you know what? This seems interesting.
Chris said, I thought YouTube was interrupting the stream with another ad. Damn. All right. Well, it is Netflix, so why not? All right. We have one more super chat to answer. We are 3 out of 5 in the Debunks channel. And the goal ends in 20 minutes. So you still got 20 minutes to get the last 2 super chats in over there. The super chats on the Debunks channel will count towards another bonus stream, a Copecast. So if you would like to donate over there, you can. You got 20 minutes if you guys want to do it.
Yes, I'm old because I thought there was a piece of lint on my beard, but no, that was just a gray.
Oh shit! Damn.
God, dude, I remember the first time this happened. I was getting my hair cut. I was like 21 years old, and my barber looks down and she goes, dude, you've got some gray in your hair. And just flat out, instantly, out of denial, I was like, no, the fuck I don't. No, I don't. You're lying. I went home, and I lived like right around the corner at the time. I looked in the mirror. I took my hat off, looked in the mirror. I went, fuck.
It's so funny.
Response, fuck.
It's so funny because I am the oldest person in all of these streams, hands down. I don't think anybody's older than me. And even when I was on Joe's show, they were like, you're the youngest. I was like, I'm older than Joe. So it's pretty funny. South Texas Shark with a $2 super chat says, what is one word of wisdom you would pass on? I guess you mean in general, to like for the world. And this will be the last super chat we answer before we go into the Daredevil stuff. I would say you only have one life, so fuck everybody. That would be my word of wisdom. Do what makes you happy. Don't worry about what other people think of you. That's pretty much it. Does anybody have any words of wisdom?
Me, just don't be an asshole. I mean, people got enough problems as is. Don't need to compound that on yourself or
that's a good one.
Anybody else.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
I'll say that, like the stuff you want in life, it's not going to come easy. The goals you have and whatnot. So I'll say, do whatever you want to do. Just do what you have to get yourself there. And also, don't try to change somebody whenever you see they're just in a very opposite thing to you. Don't lose sleep over someone's difference of opinion because, as one of my old friends used to say, the only thing you can change about somebody is their diaper.
Ooh, that's a good one. I never heard that before.
But I can change her. No, you can't.
Chris says, but Eric, you and the other Nerdcast regulars...
You have any idea how many fucking times I've heard that, Omega? Oh my
God.
God.
Aging like fine wine. I'll take that.
People still think I'm like in my 20s. You stripper.
Yeah. This is the correct word of advice. Be a stripper. Damn, that's what I would say. What's your word of wisdom? Be a motherfucking stripper. That's what I would say to everybody.
Whenever like people are trying to determine my age, they're like, "Hey man, are you like twa?" I'm like, you know what? I heard you start with twa, so I'm gonna go ahead and thank you automatically. I don't even have to hear the rest of what you're saying.
All right, so that's it for the super chats right now, unless people want to do it on the Debunks channel over here for the Daredevil chat. We're going to be talking Daredevil spoilers. I don't know who's staying. Has anybody watched tonight's episode?
I haven't watched any of it, so I need to just... I know I've been wanting to watch those and a lot of stuff.
You're probably not going to understand any of the spoilers that we talk about if you haven't watched any of them.
Yeah, I have nothing to really contribute either, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and head out here.
All right, well, check out Omega's channel, deviantart.com/OmegaVeltal. And yeah, all right. So see you, Omega.
Also
thanks for
Blue
stopping
Sky,
in.
Threads, and all that's it. Actually, on Blue Sky, it's Omega Cosmos.
OnlyFans just for fans.
Yes, OnlyFans now. Yeah. I'll catch y'all later.
All right. Jake, have you watched Daredevil tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to put up the banner for this at the top of the screen.
Sorry, the best for me is that, like, I know whenever we get to these statements, like, I have been enjoying a handful of the episodes a good amount. So if my, like, speech across from these, sounds, I guess for lack of a better term, flat or not, like, as argumentative or combative, it's because I, like, agree with a lot of what's being said in this instance. So just preparing you for that.
Okay.
Because I think that might have been the case these past few weeks where I was like, yeah, no, I agree. And it just kind of, maybe it felt like more of that. So I didn't know.
Well, it's okay. I mean,
I didn't know if there was any noticeable flatness there or not.
No, not really. Not for me, anyway. All right. So I'm going to jump through topics. I think it's the easiest way to do it.
Damn it, Julia. God, that caught me off guard. Good God.
I'm not pulling it up. It's in the chat there for anybody who wants to see it. Okay. Jump back into this. I wrote down some bullet points for the episode so we can get through this here. So the first thing I want to talk about is the continuation of Karen Page. So Karen gets arrested by the Anti-Vigilante Task Force and gets locked up. They treat her very unkindly going into that. And she gets a visit from Fisk, who absolutely assaults her. Pretty rough. But she was a fucking G about it because she didn't back down with anything he was saying or doing to her. So shout out to Karen for that, for sure. Nothing really. It was some good acting between them, but there was nothing unexpected there. I think that everything that we saw was pretty much predictable in terms of how they were going to treat Karen.
Yeah,
so,
and I think those are the best things you can get out of those moments. If your plot is like, if you can kind of see where it's going, then like really good performances can keep it from being boring.
Mm-hmm. We also get to see Karen not get in touch with Matt through her phone call because that's what Fisk wanted her to do, and she probably knew that anyway. But she does get a chance to talk to Matt, who comes to visit her as Daredevil, and he says that he is not going to try and get her out because he knows that that's what Kingpin wants him to do. Yeah. So he's going to let it play out the way it goes. And she goes back into the cell, and she gets a visit from Heather. And I thought, this is interesting.
Dude.
Heather and Karen together.
Heather is in the legal battle of her life this episode, or not Heather. Sorry, I was thinking
Karen.
Yeah. My bad.
But she gets under Karen's skin by bringing up Matt, Vanessa, Foggy, Frank Castle, and something about her brother.
She should just be glad she wasn't that doctor that was mouthing off to Fisk in the last episode, because that dude was just asking to die. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. But then Karen exposes Heather because basically she gets her to like get emotional because you see every time you see her and you see that moment in Heather's head where she's about to like
snap,
fly off the handle. Yeah, you see, Muse somewhere in the scene, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, good detail.
And she actually, again, Karen gets assaulted twice. She gets assaulted by Fisk, and then she gets assaulted by Heather, all while locked up in jail. Which I was like, okay, that's pretty crazy. And we'll talk about what happens in the courtroom because that happens towards the end. Let's talk about the Daniel and BB stuff. So Daniel and BB he's finally having to make that decision that I've been talking about for a few weeks now.
Yep.
Where do you pick Fisk or do you pick BB? And at first, we're not sure which way he's going because he's very mad at her and he's explaining to her why everything's the way it is and the succession of escalation if she doesn't admit to what she did and, I guess gives in to Fisk's demands. And while he's talking to her and pretending like he's on her side, he's texting Buck to tell Buck where they're going so that they can meet up. And Buck is like telling Fisk, like, obviously Daniel's doing what we want, so he's a good person to have in our pocket. In that situation. And then we get Daniel and Bibi going to this supposed safe house, and she realizes it's not a safe house. And she knows that this is him making the decision to turn her over to Fisk. And she's freaking out because he admits to her that he helped bury a body, which we knew that because we saw that happen a couple episodes back. What did you think he was going to do? I was at first, before this happened, I thought he's going to take her to Buck. That's what I thought for sure.
Well, that I was kind of thinking, because you brought up the whole thing where she has seen him bury the body, and in my mind I'm like, okay, are we about to have like some sort of can't have any witnesses type scene here?
Right.
That's immediately where my mind went.
Which by the way, fun thing, not so fun, but fun, ironic. She knows that body was buried, and she knows kind of where it is.
Yep.
But
so
Buck doesn't know. Yeah, Buck doesn't know that information was provided to her. And if you look at it from a writing standpoint, that's why he told her. Yeah. The writing needed her to know that, because I think it's going to be important later on. Yeah. But it also worked as a character moment for him because he was explaining why he was doing the things he was doing. But he ultimately lets her go and goes to confront Buck himself. Yeah. And I wasn't sure how this was going to go down. I knew it wasn't good for Daniel because obviously Buck wants to make sure that he's doing everything Fisk needs him to do. And part of that is getting Bibi. But the fun thing was the funny thing was he didn't actually know where she went because he told her
she had
not
no
to tell
idea.
her. So he wasn't lying to Buck when he said that. He's like, I don't know where she is.
Do you think that was deliberate? Like the location wasn't provided on purpose, so he wouldn't have an edge to give?
I think that they wanted to make it so that he would not say anything and force Buck to do something extreme, because if he has no information to give, then Buck has to make the decision on how he wants to handle it. And I think the writers wanted Buck to make that decision. They wanted to push Buck in that direction, because after he beats the fuck out of Daniel at the very end, when Daniel's talking to him, Daniel is giving him the same option that Bibi gave Daniel, which is you do realize that you can do something else. You don't have to do this. You don't have to be this person. You could be someone else. And the difference between Buck and Daniel was clear in this episode, obviously because of the circumstances. Daniel chooses to let Bibi go, knowing that he's going to get in trouble for this.
Yeah.
Buck chooses not to let Daniel go and instead shoots him because he knows he'll get in trouble for this.
Yep.
So now Daniel's off the chessboard. Bibi knows what Daniel did. Buck doesn't know where Bibi is. And that's kind of where we're left on that story. We don't really know where that's going to go until next week.
Yeah, they thought the mess was getting cleaned up, but now it's even bigger, you could argue.
Right. And this is just more bad news for Fisk because of that. I think that they're definitely leading up to all of Fisk's stuff being pretty much put down into little memory banks of different characters.
Yeah.
We also go ahead.
I feel like by the time we get to Spider-Man, all that stuff is going to be mentally kept within the sanctuary of a few people, because by the time you get to Brand New Day, he's obviously not the mayor there. So
right. Yeah.
That's probably
unfortunately, there were some set photos that leaked that kind of spoiled some stuff. So I'm not going to talk about it here, but
nope.
I'm just going to let it go. But yeah, I kind of assumed he wasn't going to be the mayor by the end of the season, but I didn't really need the visual confirmation that we got.
That was kind of the given thing. I mean, you could pretty much make that assumption on your own, but seeing the way the Brand New Day trailer played out, even before this season started, you're like, okay, you have a vaguely general idea of what happens.
Yeah. Joshua here says, do you think it'd be cool if they did a Luke Cage special presentation on what he is doing or no? Fun. So this takes us to the next thing I want to talk about, which is Jessica Jones confronts Mr. Charles about going after her and her daughter. And she doesn't mention Luke Cage in any of the comments that she's saying to Mr. Charles. And so in my mind, I'm wondering, are they together? What's happening? when Jessica spoke to Matt about whether or not superheroes were being hired by the government to do things.
Hire?
Yeah, exactly. Luke Cage is one of those people to make sure that these shipments do what they're supposed to do.
Yep.
Because if you think about it, like, let's just be honest. Luke Cage is the perfect agent because he's bulletproof and he's super strong.
Yeah, and he still has like the speed of a superhuman.
Right.
That's one thing I really, small side note, that's one thing I really didn't like about the show in the first season is that, yes, he's super strong. That doesn't mean he moves like the speed of a damn tank. He's still really fast.
Right.
Sorry.
We find out Mr. Charles tells her that he's the only person that knows where Luke Cage is. So he's holding that carrot in front of Jessica Jones to make sure that she doesn't do anything to him, right? So he's basically saying that. Because look, we know that her powers are inconsistent, but she still has them. They're just, they come and go. So she doesn't, they're not full, her powers don't work like they used to before.
There were people asking over in Lance's stream, they said, was that at all a result of her giving birth? And to my knowledge, that's never been a thing in other forms of media.
I don't think so either, because her mother gave birth to her and didn't lose her powers. So,
like, her childbirth has never affected her powers.
Yeah. So, have no clue. But anyway, so we know Luke Cage is still around. We know for sure that he's working for the government. I don't know if we're going to get a one-off episode of Luke Cage, which it would be really cool because we're getting that Punisher special right after Daredevil Born Again. So I wouldn't mind a Luke Cage show.
Give me a Cage and Iron Fist special presentation.
Yeah, I would totally be down for that.
Because they've never called in like any of these seasons of TV. Have they ever called Luke the Power Man? I can't remember.
I think they might have said it like as just a statement, not like a actual name. So
I can remember. I haven't seen Luke Cage in a long time. Yeah,
I don't think they actually did in the same way. Anyway, we got some more Jessica Jones stuff. We'll get to that in a moment. Yeah. So there's an assassination attempt on the governor, but Matt decides to tell Bullseye, "Hey, you want to rack up some more points for yourself? You can go do this. Like, go save this person. Like, do this one good deed thing." And he goes and stops the governor from being killed. So there's another. So this also, I don't think the guy was dead. He was still moving when he got stabbed. He had like one in his arm and one in the top of his head, but I don't think he was dead.
Nice parallel to the start of the season when like when Matt convinces him, "Hey, go save this governor." It's a good parallel from the middle of the season when Bullseye wanted nothing more than to kill Fisk, and Matt talked him out of it back then. And it's kind of the opposite side of that conversation now. So really like they're paying that off.
So now let's start adding this up here. We have BB that knows there's a body buried that Buck and Daniel did at.
I was saying that 5 times fast. BB knows there's a body buried that Buck buried.
Right. And she's away. Bullseye stopped this guy who was trying to kill the governor. That's another loose end for Fisk. So these things are all being like we see the show is stacking the cards against Fisk with all these things that are happening, which I think is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Then we have the trial for Karen, and we have the big moment that guess who the special counsel is? Matt motherfucking Murdock, who's back in his civilian clothes to go out and defend Karen on trial. And exposure is going to happen, which is what the reason why Karen wanted to go on trial. It's the reason why Matt didn't want to break her out of prison, so she could actually go on the record saying all the things she's saying about Fisk, which I think is quite interesting. The anti-vigilante task force is there, waiting around.
They have become just very incompetent lately. I feel like at the start of the season they had kind of a threatening presence. Lately they have not had that.
Yeah. They're kind of stormtroopers now in a lot of ways.
When the season started, I was like, hey, this show is kind of showing an anti-vigilante task force better than something like Arrow did. I don't know if I believe that anymore. Yeah,
for sure. But they're waiting around to ambush the people in the parking garage, and one of the, I don't know if it's a person we know, somebody got shot in the process. I think it was just one of the police officers that was helping with Cherry and everything.
I don't think it was a named character.
I don't think so either. But they managed to get out of that. But Matt gets shot as well but not murdered. One of the let me correct this. The one guy got shot and died. Matt got shot, but he makes it out. He's still hurt though. He goes to the church, and Jessica Jones is there, and it seems like we're setting something up there at the end. So, what do you think that little speech at the end between him and Jessica means? Do you think we're going to get some Defenders action this season, or what? What do you think?
I feel like the seeds for that might be planted, but we probably won't get the full-on stuff in this season because next week's the finale, right?
Is it? Is next week the finale?
This was episode 7. Aren't there only 8 episodes?
I think there's 10.
Oh, there's 10?
Didn't someone say there was 10 episodes of Daredevil Born Again? Is it 8 or 10? I don't even know.
Hold on. I gotta look at it now. Hold on. Oh, it's 8?
Okay. So do you think we're going to get some
we might action? We might get the seeds of it planted for the 3rd season, but I don't know how much of it you'd be able to do in one episode.
Okay. All right. Well, either way, it looks exciting. I think we're going to get some stuff, obviously, that's going to hold over to season 3. Some of the other storylines are going to hold over till season 3. But I think the Fisk stuff, based on some of the interviews that I've read, right? I think the Fisk stuff wraps up next week. And I don't think he's the primary villain in season 3. And I think look, we talked earlier about the numbers and the viewership on Daredevil not being super high. I think it's time for him to move on from Kingpin.
I agree. And I love D'Onofrio's Kingpin. He's fantastic.
You're preaching to the choir. I love him as Kingpin this season. But I think we need to move on to another Daredevil storyline that doesn't include Wilson Fisk.
Because the best villains are the ones that overstay their welcome, are the ones that don't overstay their welcome. Is that if they keep Kingpin around too long, then they're going to run into the exact same problem that the Flash ran into by continuing to bring back Eobard Thawne.
Yes, I agree with that. So for me, though, I enjoy the episode. Again, I think they're definitely coasting on a high with Daredevil Born Again. I would say it's another 8.5 episode to me. I don't think any episode this season has been below a 7. I think all of them have been above 7s for me. I enjoy the season more than last season, and you said you put this above season 2 of Daredevil, right? Of the Netflix Daredevil.
Maybe, but they might be neck and neck. Let me see how the finale plays out before I confidently say that.
Okay. All right. With that being said, chat, why don't you give us your score? If you're going to score 1 to 10, drop it in the chat. And that is where we're going to end the Daredevil Born Again spoilers. So appreciate that, everybody. Adam says the Hand needs to come back as villains. I wouldn't mind that, but I think we're going to see that in Spider-Man before we see it in Daredevil.
I have a sneaking suspicion that that poster that we see of Spider-Man where he's going up against all the Hand members. I have a sneaking suspicion that somewhere in there, Elektra's undercover.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would be pretty cool, actually.
Not the craziest thing.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right, so guys, mark your calendars. On May the 11th, we will be coming back with a game night. We're going to try and knock out at least, I'd like to do 4, maybe 5 topics if we can squeeze all that in 2.5 hours. We'll see. We're going to try. But join us for a game night on May the 11th where all of your voted... I hope we get back to a point where we can do them on the actual streams, but we have so much happening right now, it makes it really difficult to do that. Tomorrow, my Reloaded video is going to be my thoughts on Invincible's entire season. I'm going to talk about everything that I want to talk about in that one. So if you guys are subscribed to the Reloaded channel, that is tomorrow's video. Over on the Debunks channel, we are doing our Copecast tomorrow. So Copecast will be at probably 3:30, 4 o'clock. It's a live stream. There's no uploaded video tomorrow for Debunks. It will just be the Copecast. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Any Pagey update? He's alive and well, but that's it. Any streams of Pagey have to be done with Pagey's obvious schedule. So I don't really know what's going to happen with that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. With that being said, Jake, you are the lone survivor here. So tell them where they can find you and what you've got going on this week.
Well, you can find me right there. Joypad Jake on YouTube. Got my own show, Jake's Lost Levels on Sundays. We're actually going to be starting a new game to add to the Lost Levels catalog. This upcoming Sunday, we're going to be starting Batman Arkham Knight, which that's going to be a task, getting a lot of that 100% data back, but it's going to be fun. Outside of that, there's a long list of videos that I have to get my way cleared through before the end of May to make way for Lego Batman. I'm not going to stop the other normal content that I normally do once that occurs, but I really do want to try and milk that for as long as I can. Not like out of necessarily obligation. I'm going to have a shit ton of fun with that game and be able to make a lot of content out of it. So I think it's a win-win either way.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Chris, Chris, that is not something that will happen.
Rodimus Prime.
Never.
Thanks everybody for the super chats. Thanks to all the channel members. I do appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Again, check me out tomorrow, Copecast on the Debunks channel, where we're going to be watching some videos. My Invincible review will be out tomorrow on the Reloaded channel, so tune in for that. I'll be giving all my thoughts and opinions on this past season of Invincible. And we'll be live again on Thursday with another Nerdcast. So thank you guys so much. With that being said, we're out of here. There's no intro or no outro anymore. I'm redoing it. So we're just going to end the stream with some waves and some awkward smiles. So have a good night, everybody. Take care.